speakers. We will start from the city ecosystem, then we will talk about business ecosystem, how to do business in Poland and in Australia, and then we will move to startup ecosystem. So Nathan, can you invite our first speaker?
Absolutely. So excited to welcome our first speaker from representing New South Wales Government from an area that's called New South Wales Treasury, and it's Jared Kendler, who's the Executive Director of Industry, Innovation and Precincts at New South Wales Treasury, and Jared will be talking about the innovation agenda for our state, so where Sydney resides, and the various projects and exciting emerging opportunities, both locally but also in a global context for people to engage with. So thank you, Jared. It's fantastic to have you join us today, and I will hand it over to you.
Excellent, Noah, and thank you very much for that great introduction. So I've put up some slides, and it's more just to sort of help pace myself. So I know I've only got about 10 minutes, so I'll do my best to be quite succinct. So just building on Nathan's introduction there. So I currently look after industry, innovation and precincts in for New South Wales Government. Sort of my home part of government is New South Wales Treasury, which sort of around the world isn't necessarily where you would often find these kind of functions residing in a government. But for us in New South Wales, you know, we've really recognised the importance of innovation to driving the economy and being a key economic lever for creating jobs and ultimately economic prosperity. And so, you know, it's been great that you know, we have that central place here in New South Wales Government. For those that aren't familiar, New South Wales is the largest state in Australia. We're sort of home to slightly over 8 million people, and Australia as an economy is about the sort of 13th largest in the world. So that might help to situate. Where I am right now is in the Sydney Startup Hub, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But Sydney is the largest city in the country, and one of the largest in our part of the world. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Obviously, I've got a pretty sort of broad role. I'm going to start off with sort of where do we start to think about ourselves in the global context, and what are our sort of aspirations there from a trade and investment perspective. And I'll talk a little bit around some of our priority industries, and then quickly pivot into what that means from an innovation perspective, and then how do we drive the outcomes that we're trying to achieve through place. Namely 2 innovation districts here in Sydney. So for us and my part of government, our approach we calling Global New South Wales, and that's around how we want to connect our trade. Connect up our trade and investment, our business, our industry, with all of the world, and I think this is a testament to that this exchange that we're doing today. But most particularly, you know, what we're trying to ultimately grow is the inbound and outbound opportunities into the state. So how do we grow trade opportunities? So those things that we are developing here, how do we get better at exporting those to the rest of the world? But also, how do we attract the investment into our state, and in particularly around certain capabilities where we see ourselves as currently being either world-class or looking ones that we want to develop because they're industries of the future. So that's sort of the connected part. But we also want to make sure that we're strategically focused on a couple different areas. I've got our priority sectors up there on the right-hand part of the slide. You'll see there's quite a few things up there, and for many countries and states around the world, there are some familiar themes and industries and focus areas. You know, particularly areas like cybersecurity, medtech, fintech, and defence and aerospace But for us here in Australia too, we also have a very strong agricultural economy that we're trying to make sure we build on. And historically too, we've been quite a hub around the world for international education. It's historically been one of our major exports. Obviously, it's something that is quite challenged at the moment because of COVID, but we still see that as a key area of strength. And so from an industry perspective, these are some of the industries that my industry development team sort of focus on how we build capabilities, how we build workforce, and how we design industrial policy so that we continue to build on our strengths. But importantly, any sort of good industrial capabilities and policy needs to becomes most effective if you start situating it in a place, and that's where the precincts component becomes really important. So we've really focused on how do we have some major focused precincts or districts, depending on where you are in the world, what you might call them. But for us, they're places where we can have businesses thrive, because we've got, they're places where they're great places to live, to work, to study, usually built around an anchor university or multiple universities. And so, from an innovation district's perspective, some of the more famous in the world, everyone kind of looks at, whether it be Mars in Toronto or Silicon Valley is probably obviously the one that people speak about the most. But where you're trying to drive and you're trying to look at how do you get the benefits of agglomeration and bring it into a place. Later in the session, one of my colleagues who helps run the Sydney Startup Hub, where I am, will talk a little bit around some of the specific initiatives that we do from an innovation perspective. Again, this chart could be any country or any city in the world, but ultimately, we're no different. We're trying to make sure we are connecting up all elements of an innovation ecosystem, and making sure that as a government that we have initiatives that are targeted at all elements, whether it be how we fund research and development, how we look at supporting the commercialization of research, how we enable businesses to and startups, and ultimately how do we as government make sure that we're focused on the right areas of growing that innovation ecosystem. Michelle Long, who's come from my team, is coming along later today, will talk about the Sydney Startup Hub, where I am right now. But for us, that's been one of the cornerstones of the government's investments in innovation in the state. She'll talk you through some of those statistics. But for us, it's something that we're quite proud of. But it's been also quite challenged, where in a COVID environment, a COVID world, how do you take place and how do you actually make that virtual? This is the first time I've used this platform, so now I've got some more ideas of what we can do to continue to scale what we've got in a physical environment here across the state. But there's some of the things that we're focused on at the moment. I mentioned a little bit before around sort of precincts and how we start to think about them. Most definitions of a precinct or an innovation district are relatively similar, but where you're trying to drive sort of place-based activation, where you bring together the right people, the right industry, the right skill sets, so that you get that benefits of agglomeration, but also those natural sort of moments and conversations, the bumping into, a startup founder who bumps into, a VC, or, bumps into or collides, has a collision with someone from a university, and, and then you're off to the races, and you're getting ultimately a thriving precinct that is creating, ultimately creating unicorns and large companies that are going to be the employees of the future. So this photo actually sitting behind is of a rendering of a future Atlassian building in one of our focus precincts, which is called Tech Central. This is Tech Central here. So this is you can see this the Sydney CBD. And I guess shaded area is where we plan to continue to build the CBD and create this Tech Central precinct. which will be home to, we hope, at least 25,000 additional jobs focused on technology and anchored by leading Australian technology companies like Atlassian, who I mentioned. So just expanding a little bit more on Tech Central, it's a place where we already have two of our leading universities in the precinct, in University of Sydney and University of Technology Sydney, or we commonly call down here UTS. And for us, the focus of the coming few years is to build a technology precinct that has at least 250,000 square meters of floor space for tech firms, having 50,000 square meters of affordable space for startups and scale-ups. To give you an idea, the Sydney Startup Hub where I am now, that's kind of like our prototype. That's about 17,000 square meters of space. We're really looking to scale that. Like I mentioned before, the idea is that we want to be creating an additional 25,000 new innovation jobs, 25,000 additional graduates with STEM and life sciences. For us, that's to build on the already 160,000 graduates that we have here in New South Wales with those backgrounds, and also build around key corporate tenants, like the Atlassian, who I mentioned before, is going to be one of our key anchor tenants. Then the sort of focus areas that we've got for this precinct, again, sort of going back to some of those priority areas around cyber, AI, robotics, but particularly for us, quantum is a big strength as well. Within the precinct, it's also going to be home to the Sydney Quantum Academy, and also a space industry hub. In addition to Tech Central, we also have another innovation district within Sydney that my team is also looking to build. And this here is Westmead, but this is a photo from the 1960s. Westmead is one of the most well-known health precincts in Australia, and it's has many areas where it's currently sort of world-leading, but we really want to make sure that we transition it into the future, and that it becomes another cornerstone innovation district for us, again anchored by leading universities, but also with a thriving innovation ecosystem. For us, Westmead, we're trying to create 50,000 additional jobs there, and by 2036, and ultimately have 40,000 further 40,000 students in this district, focused on those areas of medtech, and sort of the advanced manufacturing components of health, and trying to make sure that we enable this precinct with a thriving innovation community as well. So how we'll support that is early next year we'll be opening an additional startup hub in this precinct, and there's also a lot of collaboration that's happening between commercial partners, CSIRO, which is our Australian Commonwealth Science and Research Agency, and New South Wales Government, that will create a place that we hope to be another world-leading innovation district with a focus on health. So for me, that's all I was going to present. I think that's about the 10 minutes. So I'm not sure if we have time for Q&A or that's it.
We don't, Jared. Thank you so much for that. But we do, if you want to stick around for this portion, or or pop back in a little bit, we've got the broader room that you entered in on, where we're going to be connecting our attendees with the different speakers. So if you'd want to, attend then and answer any questions people might have. But I should also say, New South Wales Government, New South Wales Treasury, which Jared is obviously represents, is a huge supporter of Venture Cafe in Sydney, and one of our key support bodies, and we're an example of the kind of initiatives that the government is investing in to try and drive innovation, entrepreneurship within the city. So thank you, Jared, for sharing that. And as Jared mentioned, Michelle from the Sydney Startup Hub will be joining us shortly later on to delve a little bit further deeper into the Sydney Startup Hub. So thank you, Jared. And next up, we have another a local government supporter of ours, and that is from the area which we are physically located, and that is the City of Ryde in Sydney, which is home to the second business district in the state of New South Wales, which is called Macquarie Park. So I would like to introduce Jan Buhali, who is the Economic Development Coordinator for the City of Ryde. So Jan will be joining us in a moment, I'm sure. Jan is a fantastic advocate of what we do, is one of our local supporters of Venture Cafe Sydney, and is going to talk about the local business districts and industry of City of Ryde, but also of Macquarie Business Park, which we're located. So Jan, over to you, and thanks for joining us.
Oh, good morning to Poland and Warsaw. Good morning. Good evening to the rest of us. It's wonderful to be here. Macquarie Park is a very important and integral local part of our local government area. It contributes about $9.8 billion in economic output, and that's expected to grow to about $14 billion by 2036. We are a world-class innovation district, and a lot of world-class innovation does take place in Macquarie Park. And an innovation that we all live with and maybe don't realise happened in Macquarie Park is Wi-Fi. That was created between Macquarie University and the CSIRO, which Jared just mentioned is our Australian government's key top-notch scientific research institution. So Macquarie Park also is home to about 16,000 residents, but its core component is a business park, and that we expect the residents to grow to around 32,000 by the next 10 to 20 years. So we're going to be a very vibrant, innovative ideation and investment location. We currently house some of the largest corporations in the world. We have 10 of the top 100 global corporations actually have their Australian headquarters in Macquarie Park, and that makes us quite unique for our startup innovation district. We have so many big corporates from Optus, Microsoft, Oracle, Hyundai, Fujitsu, Canon, the list goes on. So a lot of our startups that are innovating in the area can talk to these large corporates through the university and other entities. I would say, and Nathan would probably agree, we're a very connected community through our local business chambers. We have Venture Cafe, we have the Macquarie University and local government all working together with other stakeholders like the property developers, bringing everyone together so we can innovate and ideate. One of our other world-class companies is Cochlear, who's known for their ear implants. So we're very big. I know Jared just spoke about Westmead, but we're very big in med tech as well across Macquarie Park. We have a private hospital, a teaching hospital connected to the university, which is of world-class standard. So with a world-class university, a world-class teaching hospital, world-class global corporations, and places like Venture Cafe where people can collide and ideate, we're a great location for innovation. So we encourage you, if you are looking to start up a business or you're an established business looking for a footprint in Australia, we would really encourage you to come and have a look at Macquarie Park.
Got there. Thanks, Jan. I appreciate you sharing that.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, thank you,
And I'll
Jan
turn
and
over
Jared.
to Ava.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your presentation, really insightful. Now we would like to invite to the stage Ewelina Tomczyk-Malec from City of Warsaw. And Ewelina will tell us a bit about city ecosystem in Warsaw.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Evelina. Stage is yours.
Okay, so hi, my name is Evelina Tomczyk-Malec, and I work for the City of Warsaw, the Economic Development Department within the city. And our exact and specific unit is responsible for investor relations. And so we try to support new investors and the investors who are already on the Warsaw market, and help them in any way we can, in any way they need. So I would like to share my presentation here. Hold on. I'm just trying to cancel, sorry. How could I share my presentation? Evam, if you can support me, because I'm trying to share, but okay, share.
Oh,
there we go. Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah.
Right.
So thank you for inviting us here, and thank you that you can be part of this event. As always, it is a pleasure. Just to start with a few major information, I know that the Polish Investment and Trade Agency will be speaking a little bit later on, and they will tell you the context of and talk about Poland. But just to start, and basic information in Poland is, which are I think very essential when we're starting to talk about our country. We are the 8th largest economy in the European Union, and we have a large population across the markets with over 13 million inhabitants. A very steady growth, which makes us a good thing when it comes to investors. And what I think is most important is that we are the only country within the European Union which managed 25 years without recession. So we are developing fast, developing steady, and I think that is one of the basic and positive sides of Poland. But continuing and just to going straight to the topic, Poland is centrally located in Europe, in Warsaw especially. We are very well connected worldwide with almost 200 destinations to different international countries. We have a centrally located airport within the city center, which allows you to communicate very fast and it makes communication very easy. And our airport manages to traffic through, well, there's an amount of over 18 million passengers traveling through the Chopin airport, which is within the city center. Warsaw is also centrally located when talking about food and water.
Can you move closer to the mic?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, sure. Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that better now? Okay, sorry. So one of the important factors is, of course, absorption of talent. In the Warsaw academic centers and universities, there's a total number of students every year, which is over 200,000. And we have over 50,000 graduates who are entering the labor market in Warsaw every year. When it comes to foreign students, then the offer of academic centers directed to foreigners is also very wide. We have international studies, and almost 30% of all foreign students who are studying in Poland are studying in Warsaw. We have 49 private universities within the city, 15 public universities, which are the best among universities in Poland. And some of the major branches and fields of study that students choose is business and administration, but also technical and engineering, as well as languages and information. So the offer is very wide, and I think you can find any field in which you would like to continue your career. You can find the studies which will lead you to that point. We are also a competitive labor force still, and over here you can see the average salaries varying between Warsaw, London, Dublin, and Frankfurt. As you can see, when it comes to accounting, banking analysis, payroll, or software development, Warsaw is still one of the lowest when it comes to that, which is very interesting to investors. With a very highly educated talent pool, you don't have to the amount of money you have to pay. It's not as big as in the other European cities. One of the strongest sectors in Warsaw is the business services sector. It's a very wide sector and developing very fast. We have over 230 centers located in Warsaw, which hire over 56,000 employees. Some of the major international players, such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citibank, chose Warsaw as their relocation point. And these centers are, as far as we know, they are developing with every year, hiring more and more people. As the capital, we are also very interested in developing and helping the startup ecosystem. The key startup specialties which can be seen on the Warsaw market is big data, marketing and technology, as well as fintech. Warsaw supports startup by financing centers such as Center of Entrepreneurship Smolna or Center of Creativity Targowa to support small companies, small startups starting their way in the business area. Also, every 1 in 3 startups which are in Poland is situated and located in Warsaw. So the biggest chances are found on the market of the capital city. Also, our R&D environment is a branch which is developing very fast. Over 31,000 people are employed in the scientific units. There are over 920 public and private entities, also financed and refinanced by the city. Such centers of new technology at the University of Warsaw or CESAMAT, or Center for Preclinical Research and Technology are very modern and well-developed centers offering a wide range of possibilities in the R&D environment. Probably the second or third most important when seeking information by investors is that Warsaw has a big amount of office space, of real estate. Office supply has been steadily growing throughout the years, as you can see from 2013 until 2019. It has been a steady growth. We provide now over 5.5 million square meters of total stock, and right as we speak, over 790,000 square meters are being under construction. The vacancy rate is very low, and the class of the real estate and office space is very high. Co-working as a new area of office supply is also an interesting factor and is also growing. As you can see, in 2019, the total co-working stock was over 120,000 square meters. Just in the first quarter of 2019, over 45,000 square meters were being built. And it's a very interesting market nowadays. And I suppose after COVID, this area will be developing and growing fast. So I hope we can have the new numbers as soon and see and provide the new information. We know that a very important factor for people is not only the work possibilities, career possibilities, but also the way they can spend their time and after work. So a work-life balance is needed. Warsaw is a very green city with almost 40% of green areas around the city. 79 parks. We have a wonderful wild side of the riverbank with public beaches. The other side of the riverbank has been constructed, as you can see here on the picture, and is a wonderful place to spend your free time. 87% of residents have a positive opinion about life in Warsaw. But I think what is the main factor in this area is also that we are a very safe city. Definitely the safest city when it comes to Poland. But over here you can see we are the safest capital, 7th safest capital in Europe, and 8th worldwide. And I think that is a very important factor nowadays. Smart digital city and investing in smart solutions is also one of the topics which is very important for the government of Warsaw. And one of the examples I would like to give you is our multi-channel contact center. It's a number where you can call with any issue concerning the city area. So you can call for information or call with information saying, for example, that something is not working correctly, and then the contact center will direct this information to the exact specific unit which can take care of the problem. This channel is, it's also very interesting, has been taken, or the idea about this channel has been taken from the New York system, but it was a little bit more developed and modernized, and is something that the inhabitants are really proud of. Like I said before, the opportunities for spending your free time are endless, with museums, cinemas, theater options, public beaches, like I mentioned before, aqua parks and commercial shopping areas. This is a very modern city, developing very fast and giving a wide range of possibilities to its inhabitants to spend their free time after work. Something that cannot be left unnoticed is a very efficient and modernized public transport. The city is very well connected by a net of metro line, rapid urban railway lines, as well as bus lines and tram lines. A lot of investment has been made throughout the last 3 years. As you can see over here, over 2.5 billion euros will be invested in transport until 2025. And it's one of the most modern public transports when talking about Poland. We have a very popular public bike system called the Veturilo system, with already over 600,000 users, over almost 6,000 bikes. We are developing new bike lanes, so we are definitely considered by the residents a bike-friendly city, where you can travel and connect everywhere by bike. Just to sum up and tell about our role within the city of Warsaw, we are a unit that is open to work with new investors, as well as support the investors that are already on the Warsaw market in any issues they have concerning the city that we could help them with. We provide information. We cooperate within the Warsaw city units. So any support you would need or information you would be seeking, we are probably the right people to contact. If you have any questions about Warsaw, or if we could support you in any way, you are welcome to contact us directly. And we will try to solve all the problems as fast as possible. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please join us in Warsaw.
Thanks a lot, Evelina. I just would like to add that if you would like to speak with Evelina later on and ask some questions about City of Warsaw, you can join info table City of Warsaw. Straight after those presentations, we will move to our virtual platform where you can see the tables, and you can join the conversations with all the speakers and institutions and founders of startups.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now we will move to the business ecosystem. Nathan, can you introduce our next speaker? I think it's somebody from Australian side.
Yes, hello, sorry for the delay. I think Anthony is just a little bit held up, who's joining us from Austrade, and he is he's just going to be joining us in just a minute. So Ava, if you're happy with that, if we're perhaps able to go to Agnieszka next.
We can start from Polish side. So we will talk about doing business in Poland, and I would like to invite to the stage Agnieszka Szweda. Agnieszka is an expert in Polish investment and trade industry, and also we have with us Jakub, who is the head of the PI office in Sydney. So we are happy that you are here with us too.
Hello. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, no problem.
Right.
Is Jakub with us as well?
Yeah, Jakub, you need to just switch on your mic. Yeah, great.
Yeah, okay. So, hi everybody.
Okay.
It is yours.
Okay, so this time the presentation will be mutual, will be done by both of us. We are representing Polish Investment and Trade Agency of Poland, and we are representing actually two parts. One part that is located in Warsaw in HQ, and it's represented by me, and the expansion part that is represented by Jakub and our foreign trade office in Sydney. So let me start our presentation. Let me try to share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
How about now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay, here we go. Who we are? We are the government agency that is responsible for attracting investments into Poland and also assisting Polish companies in investment and in export worldwide. So we have a very big network of foreign trade offices all around the world. We have one office in Sydney.
Can you just turn the present mode? It will be more visible.
Yes,
for
sure.
everyone. Thank you.
Better, yes. So the trade office network is pretty new for the agency because we actually established this network 4 years ago only. But the other part of our activity, investment part, has a very long tradition, and we have been doing this for 25 years already. Here you see the pillars, the actually 3 types of activity that we cover: investments, export, and collaboration. With us, you can also look for any partners in Poland. Here you can see some of our clients that our Center for Investment has been attracting so far. These are the only examples. Our investment activity is quite long already, as I said, 25 years, and you can see that we are quite successful. Poland has been very successful in attracting even the biggest names. Why Poland? Evelina actually touched upon this broad picture of Poland as well, but since we didn't hear well her presentation at the beginning, I will repeat. Poland is one of the biggest countries in European Union. This is the 5th biggest country in EU at this moment, and the largest in the region of Central Europe. Poland is quite interesting in the sense that we have many big cities, quite well developed. So I will present you the more comprehensive picture, not limited just to Warsaw, but to the entire country. As Evelina said, we are very also successful in terms of our economic development. As you can see from this slide, practically for the 25 years, we haven't been experiencing any bigger crisis, any slump of the economy. Actually, it's booming since 90s already. Human resources is one of the reasons why you should be here, because not only the size of the market, but also the quality, also the level of education, the skills. This is something that we are very proud of, and this is one of the reasons why we have been so successful in attracting foreign investments. Education is really on a very good level, and what is interesting, we have universities, good ones, almost everywhere. When you look into Poland, you can expect that in every big city you will find some good universities, either technical or other types. And in every big city, you can, if you do some R&D work, if you do some innovation, you can be certain that there will be many interesting scientific partners and innovative partners to work with you. Location infrastructure, as Evelina already mentioned, yes, the connectivity is really excellent for Poland. We are connected with Europe very well, and thanks to our airports, 4 of them offering intercontinental routes, we are connected with the entire world. The R&D sector, I would like to dedicate a separate section to that topic, because this is really a phenomenon of the recent 10 years. When you look at this slide, you will see how it looked like in Poland, the R&D activities in 2010. It was almost, well, nothing big. 2018, you will see the growth, how much progress has been made in that respect. This is really something very special, and this trend of developing R&D in Poland is increasing. So when we now assist foreign investors, we have more and more of them interested in doing some R&D works in Poland, in establishing R&D centers. This is another slide showing the current status, because we were unable to show everything on this smaller map. It's just simply too much of the projects going on right now. Over 40 R&D centers in Poland, big ones of the big players, are focused on AI, big data, and software products. We have over 400 foreign companies in Poland that already operate shared service centers. So Poland is chosen by many big players for global operations. So they actually manage some part of the services from Poland, not only from Warsaw. The centers are spread across the country, all around. It's interesting and it's worth noting that in Poland we have the third largest research network in Europe. This is important when you do R&D, and of course, if you are an innovative company, R&D is actually always connected with your innovation. This network actually is the linking of 33 research institutes in 11 cities employing 8,000 staff. This is very popular network among investors, among business. Actually, the network covers all sorts of fields of expertise, all technologies, so very active in collaboration with business. At the bottom of the slide, you will see some examples with whom this network is collaborating, for whom they are doing the R&D projects. About startup ecosystem, I will only mention most important things because you will have a dedicated presentation by Startup Hub Poland. I would like to emphasize one fact, that software really is the one of the, or number one actually, industry, the field represented by our startups. And in enterprise software, marketing, and gaming, we have the bigger, higher concentration of startups than on average in Europe. The ecosystem is new, but it's rapidly developing, and actually we have many big names, big players, global players having special programs for startups. We have lots of them, and we have incubators, accelerators in almost all big cities of Poland. What is interesting when we talk about startups and innovation, we are becoming a very important AI hub in Europe because of the number of AI companies that you can find here. We have around 260 Polish AI companies, and on this map here you will see that we cover almost all areas that would require AI solutions. So if you are into AI and if you want to expand, then probably Poland will be one of the very good choices for you because of the vast collaboration opportunities here and many players. You may have heard about it, but I would like to repeat. It was very loud about these investments recently. Google and Microsoft, they decided to expand activities because they have been here, but now they announced a new investment, huge ones, in a partnership with Polish Development Fund. The Google will invest $2 billion in Google Cloud region in Poland, and Microsoft $1 billion in data center. This will be huge impact on the technology digitalization of Poland in the nearest future. Google for Startups has its campus in Warsaw, but it's interesting to note that in Warsaw, the head of actually Warsaw Google for Startups is the head of the global network of Google for Startups. So we can say again that Warsaw is in a way managing the whole network for Google for Startups. Microsoft last year is also worth mentioning, established in Poland Microsoft Technology Center, the first such center in Central Eastern region and the 46th such center in the world. And in that center, they promote a lot of Polish smart companies, especially AI firms. It's a very interesting initiative, and we closely collaborate with them in terms of promotion of Polish innovation. FinTech, I need to mention because it's very interesting that Poland offers you the state-of-the-art, most modern technology in FinTech. We are very successful. One of the reasons for that is that we never had old banking system, a financial system, because when we transformed our economy in early 90s, we already had quite a modern financial sector and banking system. So the fintechs had very good base to start, And currently we have more than 200 fintech companies in Poland. We are very successful in different even parts of the world. Every year we are present during Singapore Fintech Festival, which is the biggest fintech event in the world. And Polish fintech companies are really amazing. Another specialization of our startups is smart city innovations. In that area, we also have a lot to offer, and we are also becoming like the main electromobility hub in Europe because of the number of players and because of the competences that we have here. Last year was very exceptional in terms of investment, VC investment in Poland. Was the number of investment achieved $323 million, and the reason for it was that our PFR Ventures, which is the fund of funds, invested in many VCs and provided a big part of capital to venture capital investors who later who are supposed to invest this money into startups. So we are this PFR Ventures, if you are interested in VCs, is currently, I would say, the most important player on VC market in Poland. It's part of also our development fund to which our agency belongs. So we are like one family, we can say. And the total budget for VC in Poland from that only PFR Ventures is almost 3 billion zloty, which is more than $700 million. About ICT, we wouldn't have good startups if we didn't have brilliant ICT people here and companies. Poland is one of the best countries in the world in terms of the quality of programmers that you can find. In HackerRank, we are very high. We are third in terms of best developers worldwide. We are the first in Java and second in algorithms. So always we are really on the top of the list. In terms of number of programmers, we are also a very attractive country because we have more than 400,000 of them located only in Poland. Here you can see that the prices, the quality is very high of our programmers, while the price, the salary is still relatively attractive compared to other parts of the world. That's why many corporations, many global players, they come to Poland to use these talents, because these talents not always want to move somewhere else, they prefer to stay in Poland. ICT market, the areas, the biggest area is the software development, then games and outsourcing. Games is another specialization of Poland. You may have heard about the CD Projekt game developer because of The Witcher, who is known to many people all over the world. This is really amazing company developing at amazing pace. But not the only one. We have about 400 active gaming companies in Poland at the moment. They are mostly doing games for exports. 95% of the games is exported. ICT companies from Poland, they are very visible in various rankings that show the fastest growing companies. For example, Deloitte is doing such a ranking, and always every year you see the IT companies from Poland. In latest ranking, there were 11 companies listed in the main category. In rising star category, we have another 7 companies listed, and you will see on my list that the pace, the annual growth rate, which is really impressive. Some companies, ICT companies, develop at the rate of even more than 1,000% year on year. So it's really impressive. Public aid programs, just very briefly, if you come to Poland, you can expect that some public aid will be offered to you, and I think it's important to know that in the public aid levels differ depending on where you are located, so it's important to make a very proper decision where to go, because in every region, the public level can be different. The biggest, the highest level of public aid is in eastern part of Poland. Apart from CIT exemption, or you can apply for cash grants for new investments. The cash grant is actually granted by Polish government and operated by our agency. So we are directly working with you on such a grant application. For R&D operation, you can receive special treatment. The best terms always are offered to R&D centers. If you do the R&D, you can deduct actually all your R&D expenses from your taxable base. You can also expect to be given special tax rate of 5%, which is the lowest available tax rate in Poland. So now, Jakub, I will give voice to you, and please present your office and your activities, what you do in Sydney for PAIH.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Since we do not have too much time for our part, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of our office and myself. My name is Jakub Wilhelm, and I represent the foreign trade office of Polish Investment and Trade Agency in Australia. And although I would love to talk about the opportunities in Australia for Polish companies, Anthony from Austrade will cover this subject later. But from my part, I'd like to first of all tell you that our office, from the perspective of doing business in Poland, is this first point of contact for Australian companies that are planning to establish their operations in Poland, that are planning to invest in Poland. So please let me know if you're interested in starting up in Poland. However, our main part of operations is to support Polish exporters to Australia, both for services and for products. So what our office offers is to prepare export potential analysis. We prepare information packages. We select business partners, distributors. We help to verify those partners that you might have. We also have a really brilliant office in the very center of Sydney. So whenever you plan to come to Sydney, to Australia, and either invest here or start your expansion to Australia, you can use this office free of charge. We'll help you with conferences, webinars, and with all sort of communication. Something that is worth mentioning, since this is the event very much targeted to technology, to VC, to IT. If you could move to the next slide. I'd like to also share with you our great partners, or those companies that we are teaming up to help out those tech companies that want to establish themselves in Australia. Just one sentence about each of them. Polish-Australian Business Forum, actually, I would like to welcome you to their table after the conference. And this is a group of 100+ business executives and companies with Polish heritage or Australian Polish companies that decided at some point to associate, to know of each other, and to help each other to network. So really great organization. I'd really encourage you to get in touch with them. Fish Burners, we've got Nicole here with us. They also have a table. So it's the largest organization for startups in Australia. It's a brilliant place to start. So we also encourage our companies that want to establish their subsidiaries to also get involved with Fish Burners. We're also working with professionals for international trade. Wholesale Investor, it's a platform that connects VC and startup companies. Really good idea to get involved if you're looking for financing or if you're an investor. We work with the ABC, largest organization bringing big business between Europe and in Australia, and we are currently talking with AWI. An organization that associate largest technology companies in Australia. So this is, I would say, a very important pillar of our operations in Australia, to help those Polish companies working together with those great organizations. So look, I know we running out of time, so something that I wanted to let you know, we're here available for you. Please send me an email, find me on LinkedIn. We'll be very happy to help you out. Either if you're looking to invest in Poland or if you want to establish yourself in Australia, we are here for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And now I would like to invite to the stage Tomek Snarzyk, the co-founder of Startup Poland. Tomek will tell us briefly about Polish startup ecosystem. Agnieszka, as you mentioned the topic before, and also after that, I will invite all of you to join the tables, or if you prefer, join the startup pitch session. I shared the link to that session in a chat. Tomek, stage is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you can. I hope you can hear me, and you can see me. I will now share my screen, and I will show you a brief presentation regarding the Polish tech scene. And this presentation will be divided into four pieces. The first one will be, what is Startup Poland? Where is Poland? Probably you guys know. You can. But I want to briefly point out a few information. The third point is what are Polish startups like, and the fourth one is what is Polish VC market like. Some of the topics were actually covered by Agnieszka from PAIH. However, I hope that they will be complementary in that way. So, as a Startup Poland, we are a think tank. What we do is we are a public policy and advocacy. We try to talk to the business and politic leaders regarding the startups and the VC ecosystem. We do roundtables. Also European Union roundtables. We try to put some advocacy regarding the changes in taxes and the company's code, commercial code. So that is one thing what we do. The other thing, the big thing that we do is actually we research the VC market, the tech scene. And one of the biggest things that we do is actually the largest startup study of Polish startup scene and startups. Last year we had the 5th edition. We have more than 1,000 startups surveyed. This year we are actually right now finishing the survey, and we will launch it in the next 3 weeks. It will be the so-called COVID edition, as we say, and it will cover not only the COVID, but also after what happened after the COVID with the startups. So please cross your fingers for the survey, and let me share with you the link where you can download all our reports. Mostly more of them are in English. Some of them are in Polish. However, we try to do things only in English. We will do also one more report this year. I cannot say what is it about, but it's gonna be there. at the end of the year, we will do also report regarding the VC market after the COVID, and also we will do the agri-tech report. So we very closely do a lot of research regarding startups. Also, what we do is we try to um, we try to work locally. We have ambassadors in all the voivodeship cities. We have 16 voivode cities, and we have our local communities there, so we can expand our research and expand what we try to do. So as you probably know, Poland is a member of the European Union, which is the second largest economy, digital single market, no tariffs, no passport control in the Schengen zone. Well, of course, regarding the COVID, this whole thing went on. Well, it was not so easy to well, with the Schengen zone. However, we are getting back on track, and we'll have that in place. So from the global perspective, we have 35.5 million inhabitants. You have the GDP capita. We are very very rapidly. We are very rapidly increasing in all the indexes. What is very interesting, we have a talent pool of software developers. We have talent regarding the computer science students. So this is our very big strength. Regarding the Polish tech ecosystem, we have okay, so the number 3,000 is a very rough number, but that's what we actually say, and this is some kind of a thing that some of them are dead, some of them are not, but the it's 3,000. However, what is in year to year, and this is very important, that 80% of that is B2B. And we have 130 venture capital firms or more now, and we have plus something like that accelerators and incubators. What is also very well, very good, that our founders, they actually believe that they're gonna build a unicorn. Poland still does not have a unicorn per se. We have very big companies, however, no unicorn as to the date. We are still hoping, and as Agnieszka said from PAIH, CD Projekt is on the right track. So here you have which keywords describe best your company, and these are the things that people feels that the startups actually do. So the vast majority is actually IoT, AI, and fintech, which these are the core actually the core things that the startups in Poland do. Of course, some of them they do it to a client. Some of them don't have a product. So and plus in that survey you also have the software houses. So that is like a very broad picture of what Polish startups do. So the next thing, what is very I would say typical for the Polish market is the vast majority of funding is from the public funds. As you can see on the chart, the PARP or NSABER. This is actually the red arrow, and it's actually the public funds. Polish VCs. It's the next one. It's also some of that is also public funding. So vast majority is actually publicly funded. And here is the number for the Polish VC. They're on the rise. The number will be bigger. It will be, I believe, around 150 at the end of the year. So there's going to be more investments, more money coming into Poland. I hope that we will see some Australian companies coming to Poland. Yes, thank you for the deal room. Yes, they do great job, but they focus on the deals, not on the survey regarding startups. Kudos to them for what they do, and actually, Startup Poland is in partnership with them. So with that, thank you for your time. And as they say, I hope that I'm gonna say it good. She'll be all right. Is that a good phrase? So that's that. And thank you guys for your time and patience. And if you're in Poland, and if we can help, please email us. Please contact us on our social media platforms. We will try to get you in touch and the right people.
Thank you, Tomek. That was great, and I look forward to being able to experience it in person myself, and hopefully soon. It was actually going to be July this year, but obviously things took a different turn this year, but that's okay. We'll be able to reconnect in person soon. So thank you, Tomek. So I'm next going to introduce from the Australian side. We had Jared before from New South Wales Treasury, New South Wales Government, talking about the innovation precincts, innovation initiatives. One of them he touched on is a really pivotal part of that, which is the Sydney Startup Hub, which is a really core part of building community and accelerating the growth of the startup ecosystem, not only in Sydney, but across Australia as a whole. So I'm going to introduce Michelle Long, who's Associate Director of the Sydney Startup Hub, and we'll bring Michelle to the stage. Here we go.
Hi. Hey,
Michelle. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
And one of the things I might give you to clarify during your talk is I'm often hear one of the claims to fame is that it's the largest concentration of startups of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere, or innovation center of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. So I put that to you to maybe dispel the myth or not. But
thank you, Nathan. We would like to consider that we are still the largest concentration of startups in the Southern Hemisphere, but we're slowly being pipped at the post in South Australia. Okay. So yeah, let's watch this space. We've got more to come. Watch this space.
In our own country, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Tomek, I think, what did you say when you finished? Thanks a lot. Well, the only thing you were missing on the end of your Australian farewell was mate. Thanks a lot, mate. So, hi everyone. I'm Michelle Long from the Sydney Startup Hub. And I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk to you about some of the work that we do at the Hub and some of the significant work that happens at the Hub. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. Bear with me. Okay, can we see that? Nathan, can you give me the okay that you can see that screen? All right, I'll keep going. Okay, so Sydney Startup Hub. Well, the idea of the Sydney Startup Hub really came to fruition in 2016 when the New South Wales startup community lobbied the government to say, we're doing some really amazing things. We are creating jobs. We're keeping innovation in the country, not only within New South Wales, but in the country. But the cost of real estate in Sydney is so high that it's really kind of messing with our business models. So the New South Wales government decided, rather than just fork out money, why don't we create a hub that brings the community together, the ecosystem together? So there was born the Sydney Startup Hub. So it's a $35 million initiative from the New South Wales government. And it was a way of bringing startups, scale-ups, VCs, corporates, government all together in one space. So we have 11 stories, 11 floors at the Sydney Startup Hub. We're based in the CBD, and we have 10 tenants that all play in that space. So the overall mission for the Sydney Startup Hub is to facilitate the jobs of the future by supporting the ecosystem that makes New South Wales the most effective place to grow a startup. We're optimising and connecting hubs and communities across New South Wales, Australia, and globally for accelerated statewide startup growth and to maximise innovation and job creation. So what happens in the hub? So as I said, we're across 11 stories, 17,000 square metres of space, 12,000 of which sits with our 4 anchor tenants, and I'll get to those in a minute. But we're all under one roof in a convenient location in the CBD of Sydney. Pre-COVID, we can accommodate up to 1,800 people. That's permanently. And we welcome thousands more across our event spaces and our regional landing pads. So government controls a space on level 1, which is a community space. I guess it's a bit like a library, where we have bookable meeting rooms, event spaces, a cafe, and it's a great place for collaboration. It's a great place for people within the building to come down and meet with people that they're bringing into the hub, or just people that are going from office space to office space within the CBD of Sydney and want to stop at the hub to either work or to meet up with one of our startups within the space. So this brings entrepreneurs, startups, founders together in one place.
Sorry, Michelle, sorry to jump in. The presentation is not coming through on my end. Just check for a few other people. So are you able to, there's a share screen at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not.
We gave that a go. Let's try again. Okay.
Sometimes it takes a second to pop up. Great, perfect. All right, I'll leave you to it. But it's been awesome so far, so go for it.
Thank you. All right, well, let me just quickly go back and show you our first slide, which is the Sydney Startup Hub mission, which we covered off. And then next one is, what happens in the Sydney Startup Hub. So, it's really a place for collaboration. As I said, we've got 4 anchor tenants, we've got 4 corporates, and we've got 2 government agencies that all play in this space. So out of the 17,000 square metres, 12,000 is allocated to our 4 anchor tenants. And those 4 anchor tenants are our incubators or co-working spaces that sit within that space. And I think one of the previous people who just presented was talking about fish burners. So fish burners have quite a large footprint within the organisation, just shy of 5,000 square metres. We've also got Stone and Chalk, which has always been predominantly fintech, but is sort of changing as times change at the moment. We've got the Studio, which has a focus on entertainment and the arts. And we have Tankstream Labs, which is about 40%-ish fintech, and the rest is agnostic. And I think I've covered off the 4 anchors. And then we have 2 government agencies, which is ourselves, a part of Treasury that works within New South Wales Innovation and the startup community. And then we also have the amazing New South Wales Transport Accelerator, Digital Accelerator Program. And they are going from strength to strength. So they are looking at problems within transport infrastructure across New South Wales, and it's one of the biggest infrastructures that the government has. Identifying those problems and putting a challenge out to the community to say, how do you help us with X, Y, and Z? And they're kicking some major goals. And then we have 4 corporates. So we've got telcos and banks and Caltex. And they're all sort of putting their challenges out to the community so that we can work as a collaborative group to try and solve some of the big problems. And that issue around procurement. So how do government procure from startups? Because, you know, that beautiful relationship around customers and the like. So that kind of gives you a bit of an overview or picture of the Sydney Startup Hub. What have we done? So we opened our doors. The idea kind of came to fruition, as I said, in 2016, and we opened our doors in February of 2018. So we're just clocked over 2.5 years. And in that time, and these figures are, I'm afraid, pre-COVID. COVID has kind of changed a few things for us at the hub, but we had just shy of 500 startups within the Sydney Startup Hub. Those 500 sit across the 4 anchor tenants. We've raised now over $3 million. We've held on level 1 alone, so every space has its own event capability, but level 1, which is a government backed space, has held over 706 events with nearly 30,000 attendees. So like, they're big numbers. We're really pulling people into the Sydney Startup Hub. And as I said, on that level 1 floor, it's kind of like a real collaborative open space, a little bit like a library in lots of ways. And we have registered over 75,000 people or visitors that have used that space in 2.5 years. So we're pretty proud of those numbers. What might be of interest to our friends in Warsaw is that we do have a regional landing pad, and we've seen over 2,500 people visit that space in 2.5 years. And the idea of that regional landing pad is really to make sure that the Sydney Startup Hub is not Sydney-centric. It is actually a place that we can reach out to all of our regional entrepreneurs. So when, and for those of you who know New South Wales, it's quite a large state, and we've got entrepreneurs that cover the entire state, and they're doing some amazing stuff in ag tech and health tech and the like. So we've got a space that's just set up for regional entrepreneurs to come in. They're doing business in Sydney, they land in that space, it's free of charge. They can collaborate with the startups within the Sydney Startup Hub or externally. There's a large boardroom, so they can really conduct their business in a really professional way. So it's regional landing pad for New South Wales, but if any international startups, VCs, or anyone related to that kind of ecosystem contact us, they are more than welcome to land there and conduct business with any of our startups. Okay, so how are we helping? How does the Sydney Startup Hub help the ecosystem? We have just clicked over 12 months ago, invested in a digital platform which kind of emulates the Sydney Startup Hub. So take away the bricks and mortar and you have exactly the same, if not more, offerings on a digital platform. And this is really a great way of drawing in our regional entrepreneurs, but also people from around Australia and overseas. So again, this is another thing that's on offer for anyone to join up. It's free of charge. It's an open platform, and it's a great way to collaborate virtually, to find like-minded entrepreneurs, to see what kind of events are happening, not only at the Sydney Startup Hub, but beyond our walls, so across the whole state. And there's also a jobs board. So there's kind of this really nice interaction, virtual interaction that can happen. So any of the regional entrepreneurs that land in the regional landing pad, they arrive and go, so who can I see within the Sydney Startup Hub? They can go into that platform and actually search, filter and search and find like-minded startups to have a coffee with on the floor. And since COVID's hit, that platform has increased by 43% since 1st of March this year. So it's really proven to us that it's an incredibly valuable source or resource for our New South Wales startup community. So the other things we offer are the networking. We've just started to really build out our targeted programming with some terrific results. A lot of collaboration with our like-minded entrepreneurs, as I've said before, and this platform has really helped with that. Corporate programs, so a lot of our corporate programs, as I mentioned before, the challenges that get put out around corporates that are trying to solve a specific problem. We have a lot of pitch competitions. We have the jobs board. We have a pretty incredible expert in residence program, and this has really been beefed up since COVID hit. And we've got about 15 pretty exceptional entrepreneurs that sit on that platform and offer their services in a range of expertise for startups across the state, which has been terrific. Digital and virtual resources, and of course we also have our grants, our minimal viable product grants that come out of the Sydney Startup Hub. So that's kind of a really quick, sharp, short overview of the sort of work that we do at the Hub. But the thing I need to stress is that we are not Sydney-centric. We are very much looking at how we collaborate with entrepreneurs and provide knowledge and skills and networking for every single startup across the state. And one of the other things I wanted to mention about that platform is that it's a really good way. There is a government element on that platform. So if we've got any trade and investment opportunities that are happening, or for meals that are going on, a lot of that can be advertised on that platform as well. So I think in my really short, sharp overview of the Sydney Startup Hub, and understanding that we do have some time constraints, I think that might be it from me.
Thank you, Michelle. That is terrific and much appreciated you sticking around and sharing that with us. I think, as Jared has pointed to, and Michelle has really, really detailed there, it's becoming the epicenter of our startup community, not just Sydney, but the broader state, and also connecting to our other states across Australia as well. So, as Michelle mentioned, one of the key components of that is those landing pad opportunities too. So we posted that in the chat there, and I encourage you to connect with us through Venture Cafe or through our speakers tonight to find out more about different components within that. As Michelle mentioned, there's those different major bodies within the Sydney Startup Hub, depending on your area of expertise or specialty that you might be interested in. So thank you so much, Michelle, for sticking around and for sharing that with us, and much appreciated. So for our final ecosystem presentation for tonight, we're going to have Martin Duursma, who's a partner at what's called Main Sequence Ventures, which is essentially a investment fund broadly across Australia, but works very much in conjunction with one of our main research government research institutes. So looking at research commercialization, and I'm really excited to have Martin share a few thoughts about where he sees the emerging opportunities in Australia around investment in startups broadly, where it is at the moment, the main capabilities and strengths, but also how that's evolving and where that might be in the future. So Martin, thank you so much for joining us. I know we've gone a little bit over time, so I appreciate you sticking around and being patient. But as I said, would be great to kind of get your perspective on where you see it perhaps at the moment in terms of those key opportunities or key strengths where Main Sequence Ventures is focusing, but really also as well in the future, especially thinking about our international audience. So over to you, Martin.
Thanks, Nathan, and let me invite you to stay on stage here as well, because we might do this as a little bit of a fireside chat, and
sure,
I'm sure you might have a couple of questions that might prompt some of the conversation as well. But I was struck actually by some of the other earlier speakers that talked about how connected Poland is into Europe and how close it is to everything. Well, here in Australia, it's the exact opposite. You know, we're about as far away as you can get from anywhere. And I don't know if it's obvious to everyone that, you know, our challenge in Australia was it used to take months to get here by ship. And even today with airplanes, it takes 21 hours just to get to Europe. So, you know, we actually had to make do with a lot of innovation on our own here in Australia. I think it's driven a different innovation culture, because we had to solve problems because we were so far away, you know, from everywhere else. And so if we relate that maybe to, say, the startup scene, and you're asking about, you know, where do we see things happening? I think what I would say here in Australia, in the last 10 years, we've started to see the startup scene really kick into high gear. And that's because obviously connectivity, communications was a lot easier, everything's going digital. But also what happened here in Australia is that we had some government initiatives which really kick-started the Australian venture capital scene. And that basically means that if you set up a venture fund like Main Sequence, it's a tax-effective vehicle. So investors can put money into these funds, and when there are profits made from successful exits, the investors can take that money as a tax-free type of event. So that sort of kick-started that whole Australian ecosystem and startup scene. And so when we started in this startup scene here in Australia, I'd say that we had a lot of B2C, you know, B2B type companies. They were sort of where a lot of that focus was. We heard from Michelle talking about some of the focus in the startup hub around fintechs and some of the tenants there, because we have a very strong banking sector here in Australia. It's dominated by 4 or 5 major companies, very profitable. There's also, you know, a whole innovation of startups that are trying to innovate and disrupt, you know, some of those, you know, fintech, those situations. But then over the last number of years, we've also seen a bit of a gravitation to other areas, which is where we're focused at Main Sequence, which is around what we call deep tech. And deep tech is really an acknowledgement of the fact of, it's really, we refer to deep tech around companies that are science-based or solving what we call wicked engineering problems, where, you know, the product or offering has got some sort of relationship to research, typically coming from universities. And here in Australia, it may surprise people that Australia is actually ranked 3rd in the top 50 university rankings in the world. We have US first, UK second, and Australia 3rd. And because we have a very big research sector and very large universities, some of our universities are 70 to 80,000 students, so they're large organisations. And so I think what we're seeing now in Australia is a bit of a harnessing of that research talent into deep tech, you know, startups and spin-outs, and that's where some of these opportunities lie. And in the case of, say, Main Sequence, we've done 25 investments in the last 3 years, and all the way from quantum computing, next generation Wi-Fi, plant-based meat, you know, lots of interesting stuff that's all, but coming from research, solving, you know, big global problems. And so I think you asked me, like, where is the focus, right? Is that what you want to sort of get to?
Yeah, that's what I was, you beat me to it.
Yeah. So with that context, I mentioned quantum, and quantum is one of those areas that Australia has some, I think, interesting advantages. And it's more of an accident, I think, because really about 12 to 14 years ago, were some major quantum research initiatives that happened in a number of our universities. So it wasn't spread just in one place. It was across about 6 or 7 of our major universities started to build up their quantum sort of expertise. And that's then resulted now, and it takes a long time, with a number of commercialization efforts occurring, both on the quantum hardware, quantum software, quantum error correction, and quantum applications. So what we're seeing right now in Australia is a burgeoning sort of startup around quantum hardware, companies that are doing interesting stuff around quantum software. We've had a couple of interesting exports go to the US there. And also quantum is applied to other types of industries. So for example, quantum sensing, quantum navigation. And so there's this application of quantum technology that's starting to make its way through the startup ecosystem. And obviously, I saw the note about we have the Quantum Academy that is being set up here by the New South Wales government. So they're all initiatives that I think will continue to support a stronger quantum startup ecosystem emerging over the coming years.
That's great. Thank you, Martin. And I think we've got one of those key ones there, which is joining our pitch session, which is coming up next, which is quantum brilliance. And so we'll hear from a few of those exciting and diverse startups representing both countries next. So I guess as the final thing I'd ask for you, Martin, is where you've talked about this kind of emerging area around quantum, but perhaps where you see the opportunities in a broader context. I mean, we've discussed around defense and those kind of areas too. And I guess also thinking about in terms of an international perspective, what might be some of those ones which would be really high potential in that kind of international market.
Well, I think Australia has been a country traditionally that's supplied very heavily on international supply chains. And now with COVID, it's really started having a bit of a rethink around what are national supply chains that are critical, clearly areas around medical, health, medical diagnostics, some of those areas. And so I think we'll see increased investment in Australia from government and other areas around establishing more of those type of industries from a sovereign perspective, so that given other pandemics or other global situations, there can be a little bit more local reliance on some of those technologies. The other area that you mentioned is that the federal government has just announced that over the next 10 years, it's going to spend another 270 billion, that's 270 with a B number on defence. So that's a massively increased defence spending because of what's happening in sort of the region we're in right now. And so again, there's opportunities for startups and other companies coming to Australia to think around what we call dual use technologies that have both commercial as well as defence applications. And I think that over the next 5 to 10 years is going to be a big factor, especially here in Australia in the startup scene and companies that are developing these solutions that will be targeting that dual use case.
Great, thanks, Martin. Well, I appreciate you joining us and sharing those insights with us. And if you'd like to connect with any of the broader audience, we've got next, we've got our kind of open room where everyone is at the tables. And for those who are joining us for the first time, you'll be able to kind of navigate your way through that, where you'll be able to have smaller one-on-one conversations with people. We'll also be moving now to our pitch competition. Well, it's not a competition, sorry, but it's really a startup spotlight on 5 really diverse and interesting startups from both of our countries. So thank you, Martin. I appreciate you joining us to share that. And Ava, thank you again for bringing this together. And do you want to tell everyone what we've got now? I know we're running a little bit behind time, so do you want to tell everyone what's up next and how they navigate there?
Yeah, thank you for great cooperation, and I would like to also thank all of our speakers, and you will have a chance to talk with them at the tables. First floor is for info tables, second floor is for demo tables. Now I will share in a chat the information that for networking you can just stay here, and in a minute we will come back to our virtual platform when you will see the tables, and you will have a chance to jump from the table to table by double click. And if you want to join startup pitch session and hear about great solutions from Australia and from Poland, we selected some startups from both countries, and they will present themselves in 3 minutes. And after that, they will be at the demo tables on the second floor on this platform. So if you want to join the startup pitch session, use this link that I just shared in a comment. If you want to talk with some people on the platform, stay here. After that, we will have one more thing for you, fireside chat with Jakub Szczęsny, who is a great architect, innovative architect, and he designed a lot of things around the world, and he's combining the local approach and the global impact. And some of his projects are in MoMA Museum in New York, so it will be like 30-minute fireside chat with him. He will tell us more about innovations in architecture and these differences between different countries. So I think that it will be extremely interesting. You will share the link to this. You will find the link to this session at the platform. We will let you know in chat and in announcements about everything. So thanks a lot one more time.
Awesome.
Now we are going back to the tables, and if you want to join Startup Pitch session, please use this link. Thank you, Nathan.
That's great. Thank you, Ava. And thank you to all of our speakers. I learned so much on your side, and so it's so awesome to be have such insight into what's going, all the amazing things happening in Warsaw, but the broader Poland area as well. So just to reiterate that, pitch session is starting now for those who'd like to join that, and that link is just in the chat.
Actually, I can feel like I would be in Australia somehow. So thank you for that. Thank you for organizing that.
Of course. So we'll move it back to the main room, and you'll kind of pop back into a table area. But for those who'd like to join the pitch, please do so. So that's in that chat there.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
See you at the tables.
Countdown. 5.
Co? Pitch session. Sekundę. No. Zaraz będzie. Dobra. Thank you for joining Startup Pitch session. We will start in a minute. Nathan, can I invite you to the stage? I think we will start from Australian startups. In a chat, you can find the order of the startups that we'll be presenting. Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Eva. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, great. So I think that we will start from the Australian startups. Every startup has 3 minutes to introduce themselves. After that, we will go back to our virtual platform, and you can meet all the startup representatives on the tables on the second floor.
Wonderful, thank you, Ava. So I'll get started now and introduce our first lineup for the Sydney pitches. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today to hear from a diverse group of founders and entrepreneurs who'll be doing their pitches. I know from Sydney, we really wanted to showcase a different range of capabilities and strengths we see emerging across the city and country. And we're excited to showcase the diverse ways in which people are solving these global problems in different industries and sectors. So that's ranging all the way from edtech to quantum. So first up, we're going to have Sebastian Chow. Sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong, Sebastian. Sebastian is the co-founder and CEO of Alula, who are creating a global marketplace for satellite imagery. So if Sebastian will come up to the stage now. Just getting you up here, Sebastian. Takes a minute to pop in. Oh, Sebastian, if you have your, oh, there you are. Wonderful, hello. Yes, we can hear you all good.
Perfect, yeah.
Take it away.
Thank you. This is probably the most comfortable pitch I've ever done, usually up on a stage or something like that, so this is pretty crazy. Yeah, so my name's Sebastian. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Alula, which is basically a marketplace for satellite imagery. But before I sort of really get into what Alula is about, I'd like to sort of, I guess, tell a story. And that is that in 2019, Brazil actually experienced one of its worst natural disasters, or one of its worst man-made disasters in history. Vale, a large mining corporation, actually had one of its dams collapse, its mining dams collapse in the middle of the Amazon jungle. And this killed hundreds of people, billions of dollars worth of damage. Obviously, the Amazon was destroyed or parts of the Amazon was destroyed for many years to come. And the kicker is, though, is that this could have been monitored and prevented if Vale had access to the right satellite data. In fact, Vale could have prevented this this catastrophe months before it happened, because we could have seen it from space before it was occurring. We could have seen the dam slowly losing structural integrity. Now, the problem here, though, is that companies like Vale, people that could use this satellite data for a whole variety of different applications, it will find it very, very difficult to access it. And that's really, really the key sort of point here. Today, the satellite remote sensing Earth observation industry is really, really crowded with a lot of players, a lot of new startups launching satellites to space and producing really amazing data sets, but the data sets are really difficult to access. This is because there are a lot of existing old business models that still require a lot of pen and paper. Negotiating access can take months, if not years, to get effective and scalable access to satellite imagery archives and data sets. And it's just a very different and friction-filled process. And so at Alula, what we're actually trying to do is eliminate all of these problems. And we do this by creating a network of satellite operators, a marketplace of satellite operators. We aggregate all of the data sets that they produce, and then we make them available through an API. Now, what this does is it means that people can search for satellite imagery, that find the satellite imagery that they need, and actually order it all online. So you don't have to call up Airbus anymore or Planet Labs or anything like that. You can now stream data straight from your computer through Alula. And so this is a really, really big shift in the way it was done, because traditionally you'd maybe have to wait 2 weeks to process and order and receive your imagery data sets. But now with Alula, you can do it instantaneously. And so with Alula at the moment, we're still in our open beta phase with our API. You can sign up today and check it out. And we've got about 80 companies who are using it at the moment. We've got companies in agriculture, ranging to construction, mining, and even finance, all using these data sets and streaming data in order to make more informed decisions and gain insights about the problems that they have. So we've actually a bit of a success story. We just recently got into the StartMate Accelerator program, which is Australia's largest accelerator program. And we've just started working there, which is very, very exciting. We've got about 20 satellites in our network of operators across 4 space agencies and corporate partners as well across the globe, ranging all the way from China, South Korea to the US as well. And last year we made about $150,000 in revenue. So what we're planning at the moment is to raise our seed round in the next 3 months at the end of StartMate, and we're looking to raise about 1.1 million Australian dollars, sorry. And so if you'd love to chat, or if you'd love to check out our API, please feel free to contact me at hello@alula.com or sebastian@alula.com, or visit our website. Thank you very much. Oh, you don't have a microphone?
Thank you very much, Sebastian. No matter how many times you do this, you can always count on something to go wrong. Anyway, next up we have Andrew. So Andrew Horsley is the co-founder and CEO of Quantum Brilliance, and they are very passionate about making quantum more accessible for large industries and businesses. So right now I will get Andrew up on stage to start his pitch. There we go, he's just flying in now.
And Jacqueline, is there a way for me to share screen or?
Absolutely. Do you have the share screen button down the bottom of your page?
Oh, there it is, right there. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew.
Alrighty. Cool. I'll dive in. All right, so yeah, hi everybody. I'm Andrew. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Quantum Brilliance. And we're about building quantum that isn't confined to the cloud, but instead is used wherever computers are used today, whether that's in a vehicle, in a satellite, or under your desk. Now, quantum computing is a leading solution to take us beyond the limits of the transistor. So it's all about taking advantage of physics and phenomena that are very well understood, but that today's computers fail to exploit. And by doing that, we're able to solve certain problems faster, and actually much faster. So even though it's only at the beginning of its journey, we already saw just last year a single quantum processor outperform the 30,000 classical processors of what was then the world's largest supercomputer. And it outperformed them by a factor of 1,000. The challenge, though, is that the current focus of the quantum industry is in developing technologies that aren't really suitable for supporting widespread applications. So they're limited by cryogenics or by vacuum systems or lasers, and this fundamentally confines them to a remote mainframe role. It limits their integration as well with classical computers, and that introduces things like latencies that limit the performance gains you can have. And so that makes it a lot harder to reach quantum advantage. So at Quantum Brilliance, we've asked ourselves, well, how can we do that differently? And could we even move to a stage where we can hold a quantum computer in our hands? To do that, we need to move beyond those mainframe technologies. And analogous to moving beyond the vacuum tubes of 50 years ago, we'd need a quantum microprocessor. And that's exactly what we're doing. With our unique diamond-based technology, we're building the quantum microprocessors that will enable the technologies of tomorrow. What that looks like is by exploiting the extreme properties of diamond, we can avoid those cryogenics and the vacuum systems and complex lasers of other platforms. Now, with this, we've already got strong customer traction in North America, Europe, and the Asia Pacific, and we're currently building a manufacturing line to deliver our first quantum hardware product, putting that in customers' hands in early 2021. We're then going to scale up the computational power using a new diamond fabrication technique that we've invented. And leveraging the simplicity of diamond, we can scale to quantum computers that, instead of filling a room, are the size of today's PC accelerator cards. So this is the quantum supercomputer that you can hold in your hands. So what that means is that quantum can be everywhere, and quantum can be ubiquitous. And by breaking out of that mainframe role, we can target an even larger market than any other quantum platform today. We're bringing together a small number of strategic partners to form an international group of collaborators to enable high-impact research, create high-value applications, and feedback to stimulate a growing quantum industry. We're also hiring rapidly. So for more information, please reach out to me via email, and you can also follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Thanks very much.
Andrew, that was an awesome presentation. And I know everyone, 3 minutes is a very short time to hear these wonderful pitches, but that's all right. We're just trying to keep it rolling at the moment. There'll be plenty of time to ask questions in the demo tables on level 2 afterwards, back in the other space. So next up, we have Jane Q, co-founder of Kintel, which is the amazing platform Jane and her co-founder James have created to connect the best minds around the world. So I'll just see you later, Andrew. And I will get Jane here now. You with us, Jane? If you have your camera and microphone on, you might pop up.
Can you see us? Can you see us? Can you hear us?
There we go. Hi, James. Hi, Jane. How are you both?
Very good. Very excited to hear all those great pitches.
Yeah. What's next?
Shall I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Yeah. See my screen all right?
All good to go.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jackie. And hi, everyone. My name is Jane, and I'm the co-founder of Kintel. K stands for knowledge, and Intel stands for intelligence. So the problem we're trying to solve is that when you have a complex question, for example, for founders, we have complex questions such as, how do I grow my market in Europe? Usually our first reaction will be, well, I will go into Google it, or I will YouTube it, but those solutions are very generic, and there's no interaction with the content creator. There's a lot of information to filter, and very often it's commercially biased. So it's not very efficient. You may think, well, I'll just go to LinkedIn to find someone to talk about it. Usually we can find someone, but it's very difficult to get a response. Even when we get a response, I'm sure you have tried the classic moment, hey, when are we going to meet? Then the ball may drop and there's a lot of friction. So the solution at Kintel is that we have built a web app to connect people looking for advice with those who are qualified to give it via a video meeting. So you can use Kintel on your mobile phone or on your tablet and desktop. So basically, we have integrated the whole process. You can find an advisor, you can use our booking system, you can pay the advisor, or if it's free, then it's free. You can do the video consultation on Kintel, and also you can leave the rating and review. As for the advisor, usually they are independent consultants, professionals, and coaches. This integrated solution is also very convenient for them, so they don't have to subscribe to different softwares to schedule or do bookings. So maybe I'll just quickly show you how it works. If you go to Kintel, for example, you say, okay, I'm a founder, and I'm really keen to learn about growth hacking. This is on top of my mind at the moment. You go to Kintel, and then you say, okay, I type in the keywords that is related to my questions and see if there's any advice that comes up. All right, there's a lot of advisors who are offering growth hacking related advice, and you can check their background. Say Pasha is a founder from YC. Mark is a growth hacking guru who already have 4 5-star ratings, and you can also check Mark's LinkedIn. You see the review, oh good, you're happy with that. By the way, Mark is in New Zealand, so actually you have access to advisors from around the world in this way. So now you can type in your question, maybe it's about SEO, for example, and it's very complex. You can say, oh, half an hour is not enough, I go for 45. And Mark has linked his calendar with Kintel. So basically, you can propose multiple time slots, and when you click continue to payment, and you can send the booking to Mark. And after Mark responds, and when the time comes, you can just both go into a Kintel chat, which looks like this. I have recorded this one. It was a chat between me and Kevin, performance coach. For example, Kintel can be also used as a software. That's what we are providing the digital infrastructure to Venture Cafe in Sydney to connect the office hour program. So these are the wonderful advisors on Venture Cafe who are offering free advice to the community for free. And with these Kintel profiles, you can just book one of them seamlessly. without worrying about the logistics. Yeah, so in a nutshell, I'll come out of the share screen. In a nutshell, if you're looking for high quality advice, you can come to Kintel. We have advice for you from highly qualified professionals and advisors whenever you need it and wherever you are. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Jane. That was awesome. I love Kintel very much.
Thank you, Jackie. Also, the ask is if you would like to share your wisdom and knowledge, please sign up on Kintel and join the community. If you're an organization who would like to have something like what Venture Cafe Sydney has, also contact us. We would love to power more communities like this. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jane. Highly recommend Kintel. They're amazing. So up next, we have Alex. Alex is the founder of Albion Media, who and they are disrupting the digital world with their innovative publishing platform. So see you later, Jane. I'll get you off the stage now and we'll go over to Alex. Just a second.
I'm going to set up my screen share over here. Can you guys see my screen in chat?
We sure can. Thanks, Alex.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Awesome. Good to you.
Let me just switch around.
No worries.
Sorry about this, guys.
Yep, presentation
Is that
slide.
sharing? Awesome, beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'm just having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Okay. So hey guys, I'm Alex, the founder of Albion, right? And we're a digital publishing platform specifically tailored to the needs of publishers. Our mission is to take the entire digital blogging and publishing toolchain, integrate it into one platform, and then make it accessible to the world. Now, I'm not going to lie, what we do is fairly simple to understand, but why we do it is a bit more complex. I'm going to start off by talking about another great piece of complicated software called Microsoft Excel. So think of us as what Atlassian did to software project planning, but for digital publishing. So I know you guys all know in the dark days, we all used to use Excel for project management. And I'm not here to bash Excel. It's a great piece of software in that it really can do everything from financial modeling to project management. And if you really hate yourself, even a little bit of digital artwork. But all jokes aside, then Jira came along, right? And people started running away from Excel in droves. Why? Well, because Jira was focused on doing one thing and one thing result, it's way, way better in terms of UX. And secondly, Jira offers you everything you need for software project management out of the box without plugins and without having to hire someone who knew VBA, meaning that it's actually a lot cheaper than using Excel as a project management tool. And then after Atlassian built Jira, they then created a bunch of other software tools that developers needed. These services all created far more value than their respective counterparts, as unlike plugins, they all had tight integrations with not only Jira, but each other, meaning that you can get your work done way faster. So digital publishing currently is in the same space as Excel for project management. Like Excel, WordPress can literally do everything, but it's really, really complicated and expensive to implement right. Albion, like Atlassian, is a suite of highly integrated services. Albion at its core is essentially a hosting provider. Our manager is like Jira for publishers, and our website builder is like a Wix for publishers. And because all these services talk to each other, these services can ensure that you do your work 10 times faster whilst delivering a better looking and performing site. Now, what I really think is our crown jewel is our ad platform, right? So by integrating an advertising system with a hosting provider and a site builder, Albion can deliver advertising in a way very, very similar to Facebook. So first of all, ads delivered through Albion are unblockable. This means that it's an automatic 30% revenue uplift, as 30% of the world currently have ad blockers installed, meaning publishers are losing 30% revenue. Because our ads are really tightly integrated into our clients' front ends, we can really make advertising look native, and that leads to more engagement and better targeting. And because we also earn SaaS revenue and our ads earn more revenue per unit, we can afford to take a lower cut off our customers' ad revenue. So this cumulative effect generates for publishers approximately 250% more revenue. So this is what Albion is. We want to revolutionize digital publishing and in the process, make way better ads. I'd love to give you a demo of our alpha so far. And this is how you can help us at our current stage. So we're going to be doing a seed round at the end of the year when we first release our beta. And we're looking to do a seed round of around $200,000. We'd also love some advice in the UK and EU. If you're an Australian and you're interested in the media space, I'd love to get in touch with you guys as well. And we'd also love you to join our family of alpha testers. So in our early marketing efforts, we've already grown to around 300 to 400 early subscribers. And among those, 30 of those are alpha testers. So if you guys want to join us, feel free to contact us. Yeah, Albion must revolutionize digital publishing and in the process, digital advertising. And you guys can learn more about us at our website.
Thanks so much, Alex. Awesome presentation. 3 minutes is too short. We need to do this again when you guys, so you guys can get longer. So finally, we have Russell Scott on the line from Sydney. Russell Scott is the co-founder and director of Cosmetic Technologies at Vortals, and he will be showing us how they are unleashing student learning and creativity with immersive virtual technology. So thanks so much, Alex. I'm going to say goodbye to you now. And
Thanks,
no worries. And get Russell up on the stage. There we go, Russell. You'll be zooming to us soon.
Can you see me?
Hey, Russell, how are you?
Good, thanks. I'm just going to share my screen.
Wonderful.
Okay. So I'm a little bit unprepared and I don't have my slides on me. So what I thought I would do is quickly build my presentation while I talk to you about our platform, Vortal. Now, in fact, what you're looking at is Vortals right now. Vortals is a mixed reality design and presentation system. And the purpose of Vortals is to make mixed reality really, really simple to design and present. So this is me. You can probably see me on my camera as well, but my name is Russell and I am a co-founder of Cosmetic Technologies, and we have built Vortals. And what I'm really trying to show you here is just how easy and quick it is to build mixed reality content in Vortals. So this is a virtual reality slide. You've seen I've created a 2D slide, and now I'm creating a virtual reality slide. This is our editor. And when we go into our player mode, we can go straight into virtual reality. We put our headset on and we can have a virtual reality experience. And now I want to add an augmented reality slide. Now, I don't know if you know anything about augmented reality, so if you don't, I'm happy to talk to you about it afterwards. It's a bit too complex right now to go through all of that. But we do augmented reality in a couple of ways, and one of them is with tracking images. Now, you don't have to use this one that I'm showing now. You can load any tracking image, but this is just my demo one. And you can see up here, I've got a whole bunch of different content options that I can load in with a click of a button. So what I'm going to do is load in a 3D model that I downloaded off the web. So we can load in a whole bunch of different formats. It's really, really simple and it's really, really quick. And so in the space of less than a minute, I have now built a mixed reality presentation. And all I have to do is choose File Present, save my project, and I'm ready to present to you. So again, how are you going? I'm Russell. And we're now in virtual reality. And I'm looking around in VR space. Obviously, I don't have my headset on, but this is basically an educational technology revolution. Because for students, mixed reality is not new technology. It's been around all their lives, but they've never been able to actually create content. And so they are hyper engaged with this platform. For teachers and for schools, it solves a huge problem because they've invested a whole bunch of money in VR headsets They're desperate to teach what they call 21st century skills in digital technology. And Vortals is the first platform that has allowed them to do that with mixed reality. We fit perfectly with problem-based learning, with design thinking, all of the modes of teaching that are really important right now. And so we're getting transformational results with students. And so, as I say, we're in a whole bunch of schools right now. Vortals is ready to go, and we're looking to expand. So I'll ask, we're looking for investors because we're ready to sort of take this global. So yeah, that's me. If you're interested in Vortals, please come past the demo tables, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Russell. That was wonderful. It's so interesting to see how you are changing up the school and learning environment. So everyone, don't forget to hold on to your questions so you can ask the presenters afterwards at their demo tables. And now that's all from the Sydney side, so I'll hand over to Eva now, and she can introduce the Polish startups.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for all the presentation. I will repeat that if you want to ask some more questions, you can join all the startups at demo tables on the second floor. I will share the link how to go back to the tables. And now I would like to invite to the stage FixMix. Tessa, are you with us? Great.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good. So stage is yours.
Thank you. I'll just share the screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. Right.
You can just make the present mode. Oh, now it's perfect.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm Tessa and I'm the COO of FixMix. So if any of you look around your homes, you're bound to find lots of broken personal items, such as shoes needing new heels, bags needing new straps, or watches needing a new battery. We'd like to repair these items, but doing so is an absolute hassle. In fact, our research shows that 83% of people would like to repair their broken personal items, but due to the current market repair offer, which does not offer a good customer experience, people end up not doing so. Craft shops have inconvenient locations and opening hours, and communication is generally difficult. And if you want to be updated about the status of your repair, you need to make a call or visit in person. So we offer you the alternative, FixMix, the digitally driven remote solution to fixing your personal items, getting rid of all the pain and empowering you to live more sustainably. So how does it work? Well, we collect items straight from your home or office, we repair them and keep you updated about the status, and a few years later, we return the items back to you, fixed. So we initially planned to launch the service in a B2C to B model as an employee benefit for those working in corporations and co-working spaces, and at a later date as a B2C client app. So what are the benefits? Well, some real no-brainers. Customers save time, craftsmen get an extra revenue stream, and employees boost their productivity as they're not dealing with repairs during office hours. We also collect a lot of data, which we'll utilize in machine learning algorithms to provide extra value for brands, e-commerce, and retail business partners. So why now? Well, sustainability is a transition across Poland. So who's behind the project? Well, there are 3 of us, all with well over a decade of experience in business. Janusz Juszwik in finance, Łukasz Szatkowski in UX research and product design, and me, Tessa McKeever, in global business development. So why does our service stand out? Well, we're first on the market to offer a full digital experience in the repair field. We offer a smart, secure and self-learning service with machine learning elements. And our business model is very easy to scale up for other markets. So please be part of the FixMix story and book your digital repair today, of course, if you're in Warsaw. Thank you very much and look forward to speaking to you at the demo tables.
Thanks a lot, Tessa. Now I would like to invite to the stage Alexandra Buda from CDIA Solar Branches. Great.
Hi, Eva. Hello.
Hey, stage is yours.
Great, thank you so much. So hello everyone, I'm Alexandra from CDIA, and I'm super glad to be here again with Venture Cafe. Absolutely amazing event. So thank you for having us. Thank you for having me. So CDIA is a manufacturer of smart solar furniture, and we help to build safe and smart cities. We want to have a significant impact on climate changes issues. Our vision is to design for smart cities innovative and modern usable objects of small architecture like benches, bus shelters, trash cans, and info kiosk in our brand new baby on board, solar hand sanitizers dispensers, of course designed after watching the real needs of cities in this current crazy COVID-19 situation. In CDIA, we believe that sustainability is the way to go. That's why all CDIA devices are powered by solar energy and are energy maintenance free. We change regular construction materials to recycled components, and also CDIA mobile app educates every single user by giving you points for reducing CO2 emission. Because using our devices can decrease in the use of electricity, and thus the emission of CO2 to the atmosphere. Even though CDIA devices can be equipped with many great technologies and functionalities, like chargers for mobile devices, wireless chargers, smoke sensors, audio modules, e-paper screen, for example, for info kiosks, and also unique public hotspots that collect data and provides analytics and marketing to citizens, and many others, great functionalities and solutions. Another variant I would like to talk a bit about some numbers. So CDIA is already in 17 markets around the world. We have more than 200 implementation also around the world, of course in Poland, which is obvious, but also in Denmark, Lithuania, Spain, Hungary, also in Saudi Arabia and Toronto. And we truly believe that we have more than 40 happy clients and even thousands of happy residents of smart cities. So thank you so much. I would be more than happy to answer all of your questions on them on the table. Thank you so much, and see you later.
Great. Thank you, Ola, for being with us again. And now I will invite Karol Gurnowicz from Skriwer. Karol, you can switch on your mic and camera. Great.
I'm here. Great. Thank you for inviting me. So let me start before I share my screen that I'm pretty myself disgusted by how education looks like nowadays, and so are you guys. And we know really that in 21st century we can educate children much better, and then we should support teachers with that regard. So, you know, if a picture tells thousands of words, what's a video worth? So let me just play a video instead of pitching everything, and I hope this video will be worth your attention at least. So let me just do this at this moment. Welcome to the Screeware.
Whenever we think of the future, we think of children. When we think of children, we think of their education. From an early age, we help them develop their motor skills, understand their surroundings, and we help them build the world around them. We guide and we celebrate their achievement. And together, we watch them as they grow up. They continue to discover the world around them as we introduce them to city, mountain, forest, animals, and river. Nature is all among us. We venture into the stars, where we teach them, just as Copernicus would, that the world rotates around the sun. We are Polish after all. Together, we discover the universe and unveil its secrets. From space, we delve into the world of machines, where we teach them about technology. Engines, motors, sensors? How does any of this work? Rest assured, with customizable and programmable robots, we help them overcome various obstacles and discover both the wonders of technology and those of the Red Planet, a dedicated app that allows for both programming and remote control. We may have been a little quick to the stars, but we also teach the fundamentals. From balanced forces to accelerating combustion engines, we've got it all. With a library of over 60,000 models, they'll have plenty to be inspired from. By introducing them to 3D printing, we empower their beliefs, and we showcase that their only limit is the scope of their very own imagination. From the molecular structure of oxygen to even the tiniest of atoms, to those freely roaming electrons and the boiling point of water. The world of chemistry holds many wonders, and now they can touch them, they can feel them, and they can experience them. We solve the complex puzzle that is our DNA. We have a closer look at the structure and the elements of the brain, and we see how they all fit together. And finally, we take a look at how sound travels. But this isn't the future. Pause. Rewind. Scryware. Education today.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you would like to learn more about Screwware and what we're fighting for, please join the table. I would love to hear questions, and I look forward to meeting you guys. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Carol. I personally really love your solutions. And now I would like to invite Susan from Hunter Technologies.
Hi, Eva.
Great. Okay, stage is yours.
Hold on 1 second. Let me share my screen. Oh, wait, where are we? Let's see what's going on here. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. Let's see if I can get this.
Cześć Agnieszka, jesteś? Tiruriru.
You know what? I'm having problems sharing my screen, so I'm just going to go ahead without them. Basically, at Henderick Technologies, we are addressing the problem of plastic waste in the world. There are 5 billion tons of plastic in landfills around the world, and even in the European Union, with the strictest controls, there's less than 35% recycled. So why is that? Basically, bottom line comes to that it's been cheaper to use virgin crude oil. The post-consumer waste that we have, which is dirty, mixed, which is multi-material, multi-layered with different types of plastic, with aluminum, there's either no effective technology to recycle it, or that it just costs too much to separate, clean, and then process. So what we do at Henderick Technologies is we've developed a groundbreaking patented solution to chemically recycle plastic waste. We take those dirty post-consumer waste, and our installations use a patented process to break the molecules of the plastics down into the building blocks and turn it into valuable liquid hydrocarbons. And what makes us unique is our process is extremely effective, and it's done at low pressure and temperatures, allowing for much lower capex, and at the same time producing the highest qualities of fuels. This means that every 10,000 tons installation we build, a city of about 300,000, which produces approximately 13 to 15,000 tons of this type of addressable plastic, can now be diverted from landfills and be converted to 10 million liters of liquid hydrocarbons. And this can be used for making virgin plastics, or for and closing the loop on the circular economy, or it can be used as a low carbon alternative fuel, which can be blended into traditional fuels from crude oil and have a significant greenhouse gas savings. We're a B2B, B2G technology provider, and we basically license our technology and provide the equipment to for these installations. We're an industrial size solution, and our clients are waste management companies, municipalities, large petrochemical companies, companies with large quantities of plastic fuel that cannot currently be addressed. The market for this is huge. In 2018, 260 million tons of plastic landed as waste. And to reach a 50% recycling rate, McKinsey estimated that $15 to $20 billion of capital expenditures would need to be made annually through to 2030 in order to reach that capacity. Our goal is to install 150,000 tons of capacity within 5 years. The American Chemical Council estimates 600 installations alone could be supported in the US. So Henderick Technologies has over 10 years of research and development behind our solution. We have received 2 patents. We have a successful batch process pilot. We're currently commissioning and testing our semi-industrial pilot and have started a 10,000 ton commercial plant. We've had 2 rounds of fundraising on top of $500,000 of our own capital. I'm talking euros, and have raised 2.5. So in total, approximately 2 million euros in funding. We are a team of combining business experience with engineering innovation, and fueled basically by the passion for the environment. We're supported by Scientific Council and have a research partnership with the Industrial Automotive Institute and the Warsaw Technical University. We've been recognized as a startup, as a sustainable company, and for engineering innovation. We've been part of the Climate Kick Acceleration Program, as well as the Plug and Play, the Sustainability Batch, which just finished just this last week. So we'd like to thank Venture Cafe for the opportunity to showcase our technology and to drive our mission that there is no waste, only renewable resources. And our vision, and our mission is to create those technologies which will fulfill that vision. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Suzanne, for a great presentation. And you can ask some questions at demo tables on the other platform. And now I would like to invite Paweł Zarzycki from Smart Life Robotics. Paweł, can you join us on the stage? Great. Hello.
I will share my presentation. Hopefully it's visible. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me today for this event. And it's not maybe a classical pitch, rather a brief overview of our projects we are currently running in the area of affective robotics in education. So what our goal in Smart Life Robotics was to build a device that can actively, in an interactive way, understand the person who is interacting with, in this case, children in the age of primary school. And we've managed to get funding from National Center of Research and Development. And using that resources, we built a working prototype of robot that we named Cody. Which purpose was to engage and build motivation for kids to teach educational materials for STEM. And using this prototype, using this whole platform, we built in several algorithms of artificial intelligence that are helping this device to understand the emotion, recognizing objects, recognizing the users, as well as pretty advanced speech recognition and speech synthesis system. What's pretty important, we currently are part of NVIDIA AI accelerator, that these devices are processing all of the information itself. So they are working completely off cloud. And especially for products for kids, it's pretty important due to safety and security. We've built two working prototypes. One is a more advanced mobile version. Another one can be used on desk. And spin-off of this technology under the project is a small educational robot for even younger kids, kids in the age of preschool. And this particular toy helps them in an interactive way to learn English here in Europe, in Poland, as well as basic STEM concept. In this particular project, parents have a mobile application that they can personalize and control the whole educational process. This particular project is now being rolled out here in Poland. At the moment, we've built second prototype of Cody robot. Now, this guy have altogether 8 degrees of freedom. It's more movable, more mobile, Here you can see the render, but now in our laboratory we have a working prototype. And we started working with European partners of applying this technology for monitoring people with some disabilities, and especially COVID situation that happened made several people to spend a long time in isolation. And often these people doesn't require hospitalization, but still they require some attention and especially monitoring. So robotic solution seems to pretty nicely fit these requirements. And this is how the both standard and mobile version of project called Wilson happened. Okay, that's more or less from my side. And if you have any questions, of course, I'm warmly inviting you to our table adventure cafe. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Paweł. See you at the virtual platform. Okay, and we have two more startups. Now I'm inviting Marek Smysłowski from Sunroof.
Great to be here. Just in case of technical issues, I'm going to share on the chat my pre-recorded 2-minute pitch in case something happens. I'm going to share my screen right now, and I can start. And full view. Okay, I hope you can still hear me. So hi again, my name is Marek. I'm one of the co-founders of Sunroof. We're basically trying to answer a question: how would the roof look like if Steve Jobs wanted to build it? We operate at the intersection of 3 industries: real estate construction, solar energy, and software. To explain you what exactly we currently do is think about it this way. If you currently want to produce some power from the sun in your house, then you really have 2 options, because really, building your own individual nuclear power plant in your basement is not an option. So your option is solar. So you can either go to the solution on the left, you build a roof which looks exactly like your normal roof. You don't even know that it's solar, but it's very expensive and it doesn't produce much power. Or you can go for the solution on the right, which means a very ugly, in my opinion, but powerful solar panel technology that you put on top of your existing roof. We have developed in the last couple of years a patent-pending technology that allows you to combine the best of both worlds. So that the technology from the solar panels with being able to fit the design of the house and achieve the same beautiful aesthetic effect like the solutions on the left. In the last couple of years, we have more than 100 investments. We have built more than 100 roofs in countries like Sweden, Poland, Germany, and Switzerland. I think we have a very interesting team of co-founders, because on one side, we have guys that have more than 40 combined years of experience in real estate construction and solar power. But at the same time, we also have founders that have either worked in or co-founded companies. Delivery Hero worked with Rocket Internet or Glovo. So we're combining that technology aspect and fast growth of startups with the solar power industry and real estate industry. I've already mentioned Apple once. What Macintosh was for Apple, we believe that the roofs are for our company. It's just the beginning of the journey. In 10 years from now, we really want to become a software-first company. We believe that every household will have solar power production in some sort of another, and there will be an increasing need of managing the production, the consumption, and also the trade of the power with the grid or with your neighbor. We have recently closed a 2 million euros investment round. This is actually not official yet. And we are planning expansion this and next year to both Americas, Western Europe, South Africa, India, and of course, a very interesting market for us, Australia. So right now in Australia, especially, I'm sorry for that, we are looking for talents. We are looking for different sort of partners to help us grow in Australia. And obviously, we never say no to investors. Thank you so much for your attention. Happy to talk to you more on our table.
Thank you, Mark. And our last but not least startup for logistic, I'm inviting to the stage Albert and Andrzej.
Hi. Hi, hello. Okay, we just started the presentation.
Great.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes, it's visible. Okay.
So hi, I'm Albert from For Logistic, and we are solution dedicated to warehouse sector. We help entrepreneurs working with any type of goods to find safe short-term space without losing time for negotiations. The easiest way to introduce our idea is to compare us to Airbnb or Booking.com solution, but for logistics sector. Our team is experienced in commercial real estate. The pain which we discovered is that the warehouse owners struggle with is empty untenanted space. But on the other hand, there are customers who'd like to rent this space, but they need to cope with a really long-term rental agreement. They have no easy access to a warehouse, and usually negotiations to rent it takes at least a month. The solution is our platform, which connects both parties of the agreement. It is fully automated. You can rent a space even for 1 day, and it gives you availability to warehouse within 38 hours. Total warehouse market in Poland is 90 million square meters, and according to JLL report, there is 7.2% of vacancy, so it means there is about 1.4 million square meters to arrange.
Okay, the next thing is about that. We would like to show you a comparison of the market. I would just like to add that just the Polish market, this 7% is 25 million euro each month. Yeah, and what's more, if you're looking, yes, about this comparison, it's about that we are the solution which is giving the, first of all, a short time of negotiating to which exacted space, and on the other hand, it's about that you can rent it for the short time. On the other way on the market, when you can talk with developers, yes, with brokers, it's always that you need at least 1 month to negotiate, and on the other hand, it's about that agreement is for at least 3 years. Mostly it's about 5 + 5 years construction. Okay, and yes, about our solution is that we are first in the market that are trying to change this old model. It's the next step of kind of co-sharing economy. We would like to change that model, and because of that, we are even including in our solution second option, like is kind of special insurance for both sides, that they can feel safe, yes, when they are using our platform. Yeah, and very shortly, I tried about our story. It's about that we are a great example about venture cafe philosophy to connect innovators, yes, to make things happen. Because we are just a fresh project. We started 3 months ago during the IDEA.org hackathon. And just starting from that time, we finished already acceleration program with huge thing. And yes, we are planning in shortly, yes, just 3 weeks from now to start our platform in testing model. And after that, of course, we are planning to finalize the first financial round. And of course, at the end of the year, we want to reach the 300,000 meters of full space about our platform, and to have already 100 of unique users on that platform. Okay, so here I would like to show, but yeah, something is not working. Yes, our team. It's about that, yes, we are started at both of us. We know from the real estate market. We are working for many years in this sector. And we met during this hackathon with our CTO. He's working on that platform for 3 years from now. So yes, premiere is soon, and during the huge thing, we met a new person in our in our team. It's Eva. She's customer development manager. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. We would like to invite you to our table.
We are on the second floor, so do not hesitate to visit us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Now I will share the link to the platform where you can find all info and demo tables. Please join here, and on this platform we'll start a fireside chat with Jakub Szczęsny, who is a great architecture with experience around the world. He will tell about local insights and global influence. So in few minutes we will start a fireside here, and if you want to do some networking, just go back to that platform where you can see virtual tables. I just shared the link in a chat.
Pozdrawiam.
Super, bardzo miło i w kontakcie, Mariusz. Na razie, hej.
Cześć.
Hello, Alex.
Hi.
We can't hear you.
Yeah. Especially that it started at 5, so we finished at 7:30, almost 8. So it was, I think it was a good meeting. And then in the end he told me to ask to have a sleep with that and sleep on it and tell him if I would like to know more about the recruitment process. But I don't know, Phil. Why I don't know is that because I actually do shit lots of money right now for a job that is so not demanding. I have a great team, but I'm not really advancing in my career. So if I really have something.
Bardzo mi miło.
Jak pan się zazwyczaj przedstawia, bo z tego też co czytałam, to pan robi tyle różnych rzeczy, bądź robił, że ciężko to streścić w 2 zdaniach.
O Jezu, jak ja się przedstawiam? No, Jakub Szczęsny, Polska, dzień dobry. Tak, no robię dużo dziwnych rzeczy. Także zajmuję się dziwnymi rzeczami w dziwnych miejscach z dziwnymi ludźmi.
Masz słowki? A to fajnie.
Jak myślicie?
To jest bardzo nieprzewidywalne życie w związku z tym. Trudno to nazwać normalną praktyką biznesową, tak to ujmę.
To tak w sumie tak jak my wszyscy.
No, po momencie bycia startupem, kiedy już się wejdzie w następny rozdział, chyba że się sprzeda startup, albo startup zbankrutuje, co jest częstą praktyką, to jednak zaczyna się już taka regularna działalność biznesowa. No, więc to jest już trochę inna logika i już mniej podlega emocjom i entuzjazmowi, a o wiele więcej wytworzeniu efektywnych rutyn codzienności, więc to jest jednak radykalnie inny tryb działania.
Super, to zaczniemy sobie za 3 minutki. Ja prześlę panu link, gdzie właśnie będziemy odbywać tą rozmowę, plus udostępniamy na kanałach social media.
Okej, no to ja się w takim razie na 3 minuty wyłączam i włączę sobie link i już przejdę directly.
To ja też w takim razie lecę dalej i do zobaczenia.
Yes, very interesting, especially the presentations of the cities, you know, of Warsaw, also in, there was this, I think there was one of...
Fuller. Mihaly is a Japanese person who's an ambassador to the local venture cafe, but she's a big fan of Warsaw. She's actually my neighbor. We just chatted about that at the Japanese table that she's usually hosting. Where are you guys from, Nathan and Jacqueline and Sarah? Are you all from Sydney?
Yeah, so Nathan and I are in the team. So Nathan's the Director of Corporate Innovation and Partnerships at Venture Cafe. And Sarah over here is our wonderful new ambassador for Venture Cafe Sydney. So she's the team.
I've looked up your location. Actually, no, I did look up the location for the startup hub, which was somewhere in the CBD. But I really like the idea of building over the. Who's showing the map with all the railways coming into the and the idea to grey it out and build over it? Was that you, Nathan?
I think that was what they call in the Aerotropolis. Was that are you talking about the wooden infrastructure with all the glass around it? Is it that one?
No, there was a map of the view of the kind of 3D view of Sydney with a CBD in the center, and there was a grayed out area, and they mentioned they're going to build over it, and I was wondering.
Yeah, so that's it. That's basically, I'm not sure if you've heard of Atlassian, but it's one of our kind of unicorn startups here, and they're a really big tech company now globally that working around like software productivity, software workplace software, and they are going to make that their headquarters, and it's also going to become really a central point. So we had Michelle talking about the Sydney Startup Hub, but this new one that they're building is probably going to be about 10 times the scale of that. It's going to be, I think they're calling it, I mean, there's always like an asterisk on everything, but it's like, it's the largest of its, because it's all, it's wooden infrastructure the entire way up, but it's just like kind of a little bit classy gate.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for Jakub Szczęsny is a cultural element. We already talked about city ecosystem, startup ecosystem, and business ecosystem in cities, Warsaw and Sydney, and now we will talk about architecture, about culture, because my today's guest Jakub Szczęsny is really talented and experienced architect. He's running own studio in Warsaw, but he has experience from around the world. Jakub, I know that you worked in Australia, in Asia, in South America, and many countries. So I I invite you for if you can briefly introduce yourself, because you are doing a lot of.
Sorry to interrupt, Ava. You might have another tab open because it's coming through on the other room, your audio.
Okay.
So it's you're the voice of God. You're just entering into another planet over there.
Okay, and now?
So I'll have to check. I'll have to go back, but I will message you on Slack if it's any issue. But otherwise, just assume it's fixed.
Okay, I just went to the 8th floor because, as you know, we are organizing the event Innovation Bridge on our virtual platform, and on one platform we have the tables, and we are doing some networking with different institutions from Poland and Australia, from startups. We have info tables, demo tables, and a lot of interesting people. The other platform is for talking with amazing people and doing some workshops. So now I will give the voice to Jakub Szczęsny. If you can briefly introduce yourself and also tell us, because I know that you have like great experience with innovative projects around the world. What, in your opinion, is important from the local perspective? Because you are working in different countries, but always your projects are like really local, but they have global influence. Like, for example, you designed this Carreta house in and now it's in MoMA Museum in New York. So can you tell us, how do you do that?
Okay, so to briefly introduce myself, I was trained as a regular mainstream architect with engineering background, even though I'm by, let's say, personal construction, I am rather a humanist than an analytic engineering bound architect. But both my studies and the future career forced me to slightly change and or widen my aims and way of thinking. But I am mostly interested not in architecture as such, but as in architecture as a sort of a tool to help our societies, our communities. So it's a social tool. And it's not about doing beautiful or just well working for some time being objects. It's about creating architecture that is a platform, that is something evolutive, something that can change over time, that can be adapted by people who will come in the future, who will use it, but not only use it, also shape it in next generations, or will simply deny it and decide to not use it, close it, recycle it, upcycle. But it has to be programmed or pre-programmed in order to structural spending in it, both in construction and in maintenance, etc., etc. So I aim to do things that are quite light, adaptable, and that respond to local needs, as you mentioned, because the only way to make global efficient is to find a middle way between what is universal, like universal mechanisms, and what is addressing local needs and local problems. And these problems are important, grave. They are not just funny things. We are dealing with sometimes repeatable universal problems that get very physical and painful shape in many places. For now, I'm working in a couple of places, finishing a project in Tel Aviv and in the middle of a project in countryside of Germany, in on the verge of Brandenburg, and half an hour from Polish border. And both cases are very different. At the same time, I'm working on something that is radically different, which is not so much about NGO, because it's not a project run by a non-governmental organization, and most of our partners are either cultural institutions or NGOs, but by a bunch of young, very daring entrepreneurs who started an idea of a giant leisure center in downtown Warsaw called Implant, that will be built out of shipping containers. It's 5-story high, including not only bars and restaurants, but also a green courtyard for everybody, plus a children's museum. So also culture and education will be embedded in the concept.
And can you tell more about this project, Carreta House?
Carrot House is named after Edgar Carrot, the Israeli writer who is quite popular in Poland, probably the most popular Israeli writer right now, writing short stories that are hilarious. I really recommend. I'll write down his name. And I was looking for a way to fulfill or put life into an empty slot between two buildings in Warsaw that represent two different moments in evolution of my city that were somehow not touching each other. So there's a gap of some 152 centimeters in widest place and 92 in the narrowest. And I wanted to invite someone to use it and become a partner and a patron of it. And I have convinced Edgar, who is also very bound to do experiments, to participate in it. And so he has given his name to a structure that is sort of stuck in between, and that is not a sculpture. It's a building. It's a functional thing that provides anything a writer or an artist requires when wanting to reside for 1 to 2 weeks away from everyday reality of hers or his. So it's an artist residency now, and people apply to work in it. They come from all over the world, and they write, they sleep, they also make photographs, and very different creators were already using it since 2012.
Great. I also shared the link in the chat if you are more interested in the project, because it's really incredible. You can read about that more. And I'm really interested because you are working around the world in many countries. And can you see some cultural differences in your work? It might be in design or maybe cooperation with people. Of course, they are, but from your perspective, what is the most important?
Well, the cultural differences are on one hand visible and stereotypal and obvious. On the other hand, we are as humans, as mammals, we are quite the same, right? So we all want safety. We all need to proliferate. We all need food and a fresh air to breathe with, and some proportion of freedom and control. Of course, these proportions are varying, and probably this is the biggest difference you might find between, let's say, inhabitants of post-industrial revolution shaped, mostly Protestant countries, and let's say Asian countries. But altogether, we are pretty much the same. what's varying a lot is the distribution of money in different places, and the access to resources, not only money but also education, basic resources that are water, food, energy. Altogether, my work is about going to a place, analyzing the situation thanks to a local agent, mostly a non-governmental organization, that's also opening doors and letting me sort of parachute myself into realities of people who live in such places as, I don't know, rural countryside in Narrogin in Western Australia, where I was dealing not only with white people but also with two enemy clans, Aboriginal clans, or Palestinian autonomy, where we did two projects, or Israel, that's so on the other side of the wall, that where also you have very different mechanisms, or Brazil, where I did a number of projects. In any case, what's important is pretty much the same that Olga Tokarczuk, the Polish writer who just received Nobel Prize, said in her cum laude, that we need to understand each other through being a sort of patient and warm-hearted narrator or creator or person that listens to others. So, oh my God, there's some music entering into my computer right now. Can you hear it, Eva?
Oh, I don't hear it, but maybe you are on the other platform. You are sitting at the table, and there is a chance that somebody joined your table, and music from somebody. So I advise you move to 8th floor. Nobody is there.
All right, I'll go to 8th floor. I'm going to 8th floor and sitting by an empty table. Oh no, I'm with you. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here. All right, so anyway, the cultural differences there are, because they are related to tradition mostly and cultural inertia. We have to remember that we live in parallel worlds. So on one hand, we have crazy new technologies that are so fast, so dynamic, emerging fast, dying fast. We have the American logic of capitalism related to it. Yes, so we have giants who buy small startups and become bigger and bigger, and by the end of the day, we're going to have 2-3 entities. It's like a binary system, pretty much. On the other hand, we have a lot of small communities and small businesses that don't want to, or are not even interesting for big moguls of business, who strive to survive, who are strugglers, but who also serve communities in ways that have nothing to do with high tech. I am quite critical when it comes to
we have also common challenges, like, for example, climate.
Of course. So this is probably dealing with most basic problems, and universal problems is something that is putting us together. Although you're still going to have a lot of people who will deny a climatic crisis, who will say the Earth is flat, etc., etc. So it's not that easy. We also communication technologies have created bubbles, communication bubbles that are totally separate. Now you have China and Russia developing their own internet in order to have their own separate world of communication away from Western freedom. As much as there's any freedom in it, I can understand the totalitarian governments who just don't want people in their countries to know that a citizen can have an influence on her or his reality. But altogether, even though I'm a openly liberal person, I also see many interesting things related to conservative thinking. starting with good food in Poland. The fact that we never had industrial revolution here is giving one very good effect, which is the one that we are eating better food than, and it's available. It's not something that you pay 4 times more like in US.
Yeah,
So
that's true. It's, I have this impression that in Poland, in let's say usual supermarket, you can find the food that in US it's only in organic shops. So I
Yeah,
totally agree with you.
there's a number of mechanisms like this. I mean, for instance, Australia, I don't know big cities there because I've been working in countryside, but when I was dealing with farmers, sometimes mega farmers, they were saying that they were totally self-sufficient or almost self-sufficient, and they were able, as humans, they were able to do everything from repairing a tractor to doing batik or cooking incredible things, brewing their own beers, doing electricity installations, etc., etc. And in last 30 years, more and more of this knowledge and abilities are taken away by pressure and dynamic development of different service sectors that are, as some of my interlocutors said, if you before 89, if you wanted to change a bulb in your lamp, you would do it yourself. But today there's tons of people coming, hey, I can do it for you, you don't have to do it, yeah, but you just have to pay me. And it's in everything. So I think that there's a number of mechanisms that are quite critical, and I am very critical to what's happening in many levels. But we have to listen to each other, and the fact that you sometimes work in totally sexy, no hipster environment with countryside people is quite refreshing for us living in downtowns of big cities. Actually, I think that part of the problem we have today with populisms all over the world is that we got so focused on urban culture, on new business, and on being new dynamic capitalists, that we stopped being interested in the other half, in people who don't live in big cities, in people who don't drink a latte from Starbucks, but people who on everyday basis do things that are totally different from what we do in front of our laptops. Hello.
I think that it's really important, and also you mentioned this local perspective, but I think that it's not only about country, but also about some areas of countries. For example, in Australia is so huge that this local approach can be implemented in different areas, not just for the country.
What do you mean by different areas, not just for the country?
Because you mentioned that you worked in Australia, but in one part of Australia. So I think that like talking about local approach, for example, in Europe, you can have local approach to the country, because the countries are smaller, and in Australia it's totally different story, even within the country, in different areas.
I don't believe in this sort of national approach, because every community is different. It's of course easier to talk to a universal global class of, let's say, IT people, because they will be pretty much the same. They have pretty much the same model of everydayness, and it's the same with architects doing international projects. I mean, we are in separate bubbles, but when we are talking about rural communities, villages, or small cities, it's more complicated, because in many cases you can have two villages that are maybe 5 kilometers from each other, and you realize that they are actually totally different because the one is closer to some resource or has some tradition that the other doesn't, or there is some specific family or a clan that's actually ruling this place, even though there's a mayor, but the mayor is paid by this family. I mean, it's in many cases you see that there's a number of specific differences that if you want to do something with it, you really have to go there, understand these people, understand the situation, and this is only when you can start thinking about how you can help these people have their own tool for the future, because you are not giving an answer, you are actually giving a tool, being an architect. So it's not something that is about creating beautiful sculptures and like making people say, oh, how nice it is. It's about giving them a hammer and saying like, do your thing with this hammer in the future, even though the hammer can look nice. Yeah. So the certain sensitivity and ability to understand that people have different lives, and the fact that they are not ourselves doesn't mean that they are worse, less interesting, or they are not potential partners for us to develop anything. We just need to be more open. I think that one of the problems that we have in big cities, and with the fact that we jumped into computers, is that we just forget about our peers and about their needs. Everyone who is not the probably 10% of society.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and it's really, I think it's really interesting perspective. And I think in everyday life we don't think about that. So it's good to really focus on that. And, Carl,
yeah?
I just would like to thank you, Carl, for the comment that Travis from our Venture Cafe Global built actually the house from the containers.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I will check it out. Actually, I love St. Louis. I designed a chicken coop for St. Louis Science Center, an experimental chicken coop for their collection of exotic chicken. So I've been visiting the city, and it's really interesting. I have to check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, so you should visit our Venture Cafe in St. Louis. We have a few locations in US and also in Sydney, Tokyo, Rotterdam, now Warsaw. So once you have been traveling to those cities, you are really welcome everywhere. We will connect you with our teams all over the world.
Cool.
And Jakub, can you tell me what was your favorite project? Do you have your favorite project?
When it comes to my projects, you disappeared. Welcome to the digital. I don't know. Can you hear me now? Hello? Oh God. And I'm left on a desert now. Check out. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear
you're
me?
back. Okay, yes.
Yeah. I mean your projects.
My projects. It's hard to say because it's hard for me to perceive a project straight away after doing it, because it's not the logic of a magazine, interior design magazine. Let's say in an interior design magazine, an interior designer makes a project. It gets built, and then very fast it has to be photographed and put into the magazine because it's a form of saying like, look how fantastic we is in it. In most cases, these projects are ridiculous galleries of expensive goods. The best examples you rather find in, I don't know if you know cabin porn. Check it out, it's fantastic. It's actually an initiative that shows lifestyles in micro houses and huts, in shelters, sheds of all kind all over the world, for very different people who decided to live in something that small, usually in very natural locations, in environments that were different from their everydayness. So they either run away to it. It's like a tradition of Thoreau's Walden, and lots of people who appear in these books and on the website. The website has the same name in it. You can see it also on Instagram. Are talking about their everydayness, how they use these houses, their interiors, what's around the house. And this is pretty much about my work. I'm not interested in showing and assuming I've done something nice, look how nice it is. I rather monitor the thing, the tool that I've provided. So I'm not saying, look at my fantastic, beautifully designed hammer. I'm observing the hammer over the years and collecting feedback from people who use the hammer. And so maybe I will be able to say I like this one more than the other by the end of my personal trip. But there are some projects that are causing more or provoking more fun, like the chicken coop in St. Louis, which was a very funny job to do for non-mammals. Yeah, we've been doing it for ladies, the chicken ladies, who were after it came out after 1 year of studying that the chicken need the same things as us humans. But some projects like Carrot House or Implant that we are building now are deadly difficult. So by the end of the process, you are so tired that even if the opening happens to show people's enthusiasm and they like what you've done, you just come to the opening and you are too tired to be enthusiastic. You just say, "Oh God, I'm so happy it's over." I mean, and then maybe after some time you start to appreciate it because other people use it. With Carrot House, what was nice is that it caused so many people to get inspired by it. So they, like the musical project that took place there, where entire musical crews were entering into this micro space that's really 14 square meters, and they were bringing their pianos, drummer sets, etc. into this space and using the building itself as a musical instrument. I found it fantastic. So this is where you realize that something you designed actually makes sense. And probably with many architectural objects of purely architectural character, this is something that matters most, is that people can have happy lives in houses we design, that they can wake up in the morning. Like one of my clients said, I did a very difficult project of a house overgrown by trees that looks like a labyrinth. It's called Podkowa House. It's in Podkowa under Warsaw. It's a garden city, and we had a plot on which we couldn't cut any trees. And the process was so difficult and painful to design something basing on Voronoi scheme. So it looks like pretty much like a labyrinth. Thanks, Carl. And then after a year of living in a house, my client wrote me, I love to wake up in this house because I feel like being on holidays every morning in my everydayness. And what's better than this? Yeah. So every sometime you get granted, like we receive this sort of a prize from reality, but it's not something that happens all the time. Architectural projects are difficult. There's tons of bureaucracy in it, lots of shit, budget cuts, many players coming to the table with totally opposite interests, lots of negotiations. Creation is probably 10% of the process. And then supervising the thing when it's being built to make it actually look the same or almost the same as you designed it is also a very painstakingly produced process. But altogether, it is rewarding sometimes. In many cases, it has very little to do with business because you, in most cases, I have seen that the best projects I've done were not bringing money. They were bringing fame, visibility, marketing, but not the money was symbolical. Yes, I mean, liking something is one thing, but liking it over time, in longer periods of time, is a different thing.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you for this conversation, for sharing your knowledge, your experience. And you can find the website, Jakub's website here. I will put it in the chat. If you want to contact Jakub, and also I encourage you to come back to our virtual platform if you have meet some more people likewise interesting. So yeah, so it's thank you a lot for joining us today and for the nice conversation. And yeah, see you on the next event.
Cool. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.